Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto x Wonder Woman Harem Justice League. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Lone Wolf 01 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. Secret Origins. Nighttime Wayne Tech. Metropolis Substation. Two men were running at the top of a science lab. One was in a gray suit with a black bat logo, a mask with long ears, a cape, gloves, boots, small tights, and a yellow belt. The other was 6, wearing a black shirt, cargo pants, combat boots, black fingerless gloves, and a short-sleeved trench coat with a hood that covered the top half of his face. 1. Opening a vent that dropped down onto a beam, seeing 4 scientists. 3 males and 1 female. You're all coming to my party, right? One male scientist with glasses and short blonde hair asked the other 3. One, a balding gray-haired man, nodded, smiling, as the other one with short black hair smirked. Of course, wouldn't miss it. The only female with dark skin and long hair kept silent while typing on a computer. The blonde scientist left and the other 3 glanced at each other. The balding scientist stood up and spoke in an alien language as the other 2 walked up with him to the back wall with huge computers covering it. The black-haired male picked up the computer, causing the 2 up on the beam to widen their eyes at his strength. The woman punched the wall, revealing a black alien-looking device with a few red glowing sections on it. Up on the satellite, the scientist put the device on top and it dissolved into it. I doubt that's legal. Turning round, the scientist saw the 2 men. It looks like another alien bomb, like the ones I've been finding, Batman. The one with the hood said to the now identified Batman before pulling out a strange-looking knife with 3 blades and threw it past the scientist to where the bomb went in. Batman threw a bolus around the 2 male scientists as the hooded man disappeared in a black flash. 2. He reappeared beside the knife and looked for the bomb as Batman fought the scientist and the 2 males became thinner to get out of the bolus. Batman threw a batarang at the female only for it to bounce off her. Rasengan. Spiraling sphere. The hooded man hit the balding scientist with a blue ball that formed in his hand, but the attack didn't do anything but push him back a few inches. The man jumped over the scientist, dodging an attack from the female landing beside Batman. Remind me again why I agree to help you. Before Batman could reply, they heard a voice from behind them. Need a hand? Turning around, they saw a muscular man with black hair and a blue spandex suit with a red cape, boots, and small tights, with a yellow belt and shield with a red S on his chest. No thanks, we're fine. Batman quickly said, running towards the scientists. We could use your X-ray to find what I believe to be a bomb they placed in the satellite. Superman. Superman's eyes widened and started flying over, but grabbed his head, screamed in pain, and fell on one of the supports. Crap. The man cursed, picking Superman up, and saw the balding scientist pull out a small device and push a button. All 3 men jumped off the building and slid down a hill as it exploded. Damn, that hurt. The hooded man said, holding his head as Batman looked at the fire. What happened? Superman asked, holding his head. Batman looked over at him after seeing the scientist leave through the woods. You two alright? The hooded man asked, walking over. I take your cage. The new hero that popped up last year. 3, Superman asked before using his X-ray, and his eyes widened. Naruto? He asked as Naruto removed his hood. Revealing a teen with spiky blonde hair with 2 bangs framing his face, blue eyes, and 3 whisker marks on each of his cheeks. How do you know him? Batman asked as Superman turned to him. He's dating my cousin. Naruto's eyes widened at that. What? The only cousin I know of Kara's that's your age, as Naruto stopped, imagining glasses on Superman. Clark. How do glasses hide your identity? Regular glasses at that. Before Naruto could ask more questions, Batman interrupted. Never mind. What happened back there? He asked Superman, who turned to him confused. I don't know. I just saw images that were so intense, that's all I can remember. All 3 turned around to the burning building. Looks like they were destroying evidence, Batman commented as Naruto nodded. Yeah, maybe those images of yours are related to them, Naruto said to Superman, who turned to Batman. What's this all about? Batman turned back to him and explained. I've found breaches in our deep space globule monitor network, and Naruto here has found alien tech in a few key places around the state. Superman's eyes widened. And no one's claimed responsibility. Naruto raised an eyebrow. I guess no one wants the blame for it, or we have moles. Superman nodded before turning around. I'd love to stay and help. But I'm needed back in Metropolis. He said, reaching for his belt. Another key to the city? Batman asked as Superman pulled out a watch from his belt and gave it to Batman. It's a communicator if you need me. He said before turning back to Naruto, who raised an eyebrow. Well, I am your parents' neighbor. I can just tell Kara if I want to get a hold of you, since she's your cousin. I guess I don't have to worry about her finding out about me now. Naruto explained as Superman flew away. Seriously, how do glasses hide his identity? Lois Lane should be able to tell it's him. She works with him and gets saved by him so much, it's not funny. Naruto complained looking back. Only to find that Batman was gone. Got to give it to him. I'm a real shinobi and he got away without me seeing him. Moving his hood back up, Naruto focused for a moment before disappearing in a flash. Morning, Smallville, Kansas. Naruto, wearing blue jeans and a red shirt, was driving a black Dodge Charger down the small road. He pulled into a driveway with a sign that read Kent Farm at the entrance and came up to a two-story house with a barn beside it. Getting out, he saw an old man working on a tractor. Morning, Naruto. He greeted as Naruto waved. Morning, John, Kara here? He asked as John Kent nodded. Yeah, she's inside eating. Nodding, Naruto walked inside and saw an elderly woman putting a plate in the sink, a girl around 5'8" with blonde hair that went past her shoulders and blue eyes, wearing a blue skirt and shirt, drinking orange juice with an empty plate in front of her, watching Superman on television at the UN. Morning, Naruto. The woman greeted as the girl quickly got up, ran over and kissed him. Morning, Martha, Kara. He greeted, wrapping an arm around Kara. What are you doing here this early? Martha asked as the news went to a man in a red costume with yellow lightning bolts on his head, arms, waist, and a lightning logo in front of his chest. I'm the fastest man alive. The man ran around the reporter in a flash. But even I can't be in 5 places at once. Naruto looked up from the TV. I'm here to take Kara from you for a bit. Nodding, Naruto, Kara got in his car and left. So what are we doing? Kara asked Naruto, who kept his eyes on the road as he replied. We're going to my house for a bit. Kara smirked and crossed her arms. For a makeout session? She asked as Naruto smirked himself. Maybe if we have time. A few miles down the road, they pulled up to Naruto's house. A small 2-story house with a front and back porch, both screened up with a few chairs and a swing on each, with 2 acres and a few trees in the yard. As Naruto got out, he was talked by a black blur. Hey, Hunter. Naruto greeted the adult black wolf that was licking his face. Pushing him off, Hunter jumped up to Kara and licked her face. Going inside, Naruto brought her to the office room filled with books and a desk. What did you want to talk about? Kara asked as Naruto walked up to a bookshelf. That Clark is Superman, are you Supergirl? Eyes widening, Kara tried lying. What, no? What are you, Tal? She stopped, seeing Naruto lift a book off and the bookshelf fell onto the floor, revealing a room with a couple of monitors, the weapons including weird-looking knives. Kara walked in and saw 2 costumes. One full black with shirt, pants, and short-sleeved trench coat with a hood. And the other has a Kevlar vest, black cargo pants, and a red trench coat with a hood, with black flames on the bottom and the sleeves. I was helping Batman out last night and ran into Superman. He used his X-ray to see my face. I still think he uses that for other reasons. Kara finally looked at him. Your cage. Why didn't you tell me? She asked, yelled as her eyes glowed red for a moment. That answers my question. If she's Supergirl, better make sure not to forget her birthday now, Naruto thought, sweating a little. The whole bad guys coming after loved one. I didn't know you were Supergirl, Naruto replied before explaining about his past. So after beating Madara, you were suddenly teleported here with the technique you used? After Naruto nodded, she smiled. Okay, I guess this is like when Clark told me about Lois going to a world where he teamed up with Lex. 4. Yeah. I can still talk to them, and all with summoning toads to send letters, but we haven't found a way back yet. Nodding, Kara walked over to him. What about Kurama? Naruto smiled and continued. I can use a little of his chakra and I'm able to summon him also if things get too bad. 5. Taking a look around, Kara looked at the desk with the monitors and saw a pair of sunglasses hooked up to them. What's this? She asked, picking them up. Put them on and hit the button on the right side. Kara unplugged them, put them on, and pressed the button. Suddenly everything took a blue tint and an information box came up when she looked at Naruto, showing his heartbeat and pulse. Whoa. Naruto smiled and started to explain. I had Batman help with that. He calls it detective vision. Hold the button down while looking at me. Doing so, the glasses zoomed in and a circle started scanning Naruto. After a moment, a box with his information came up. This is amazing. Naruto walked up to her and continued explaining. It can show me if an enemy has a gun, scan a crime scene to highlight points of interest, and have holograms act out theoretical scenarios of the crime to see if there's anything I missed when I rewind or pause. It also has night vision. 6. Naruto, letting her go, pulled out a box beside the desk. He opened it, showing a black bow handle with a laser sight, a red button on the inside of the handle, and a few buttons on the outside. 7. Hitting one of the buttons, the handle unfolded into a recurved bow. I thought you used jutsu. Kara asked as Naruto picked up a black quiver and hit the red button. I do. But I'll use this for stealth because I'll use smoke bombs, flash bangs, sleep gas, and my Haration, Flying Thunder God, the move that I use to teleport. The bottom part of the quiver moved around for a second. I'm also using it for when I face villains that you and Clark have a hard time to beat. So I'll have an edge. I also have some trick arrows that Green Arrow uses too. Kara raised an eyebrow as she put the glasses back. The aliens we fought last night took a Rasengan, spiraling sphere. Like it was nothing, and it's one of my strongest attacks. Naruto walked out with Kara following. I have a bad feeling something's going to happen, so we should be ready. He said, leading them to the living room with a couch, a few chairs, and a flat screen. How are you paying for this? I know you help out on the farm, but you must have another job. Naruto smiled as he sat down with Kara sitting on his lap. Well, I write books. Mainly of my time and others in my world. And I'm thinking of working for the Daily Planet as a photographer. Kara leaned against him as he talked with Hunter walking in and lay down on the floor. Well, I better get going. She said, getting up and walking to the door. Need me to drive you home? Shaking her head, she leaned up and kissed him. No, I'll just fly back since I don't have to hide it from you. She replied before floating up and leaving. Naruto took his bow, quiver, and walked out to practice. Wonder why Shinobi didn't use the bow a lot. It's awesome. Pressing the red button, the bottom part of the quiver moved around before he picked up a black arrow with a silver tip and fired it at a target that popped up out of the ground. Thanks, Oliver. Night. Warehouse. Naruto, in his black costume, jumped in front of a warehouse right before Batman. Clues to that scientist lead you here? He asked as Batman nodded. Yeah, I got an alien signal coming from here. As they walked in, Batman noticed Naruto's bow and arrow. Trying to be like Green Arrow? Naruto snorted at that. No, he wishes he could be as awesome as me. Well, I use trick arrows also. I use my ninja techniques like my explosive tag, flash bangs, smoke bombs, sleeping gas, and Haration, flying thunder god. That move makes me teleport. It's also if I ever fight villains that Superman has a hard time defeating since I live close to Metropolis. That alien we fought took one of my strongest attacks like it was nothing, so I want to have something that'll stop them and give me an edge. Naruto explained before walking over to a table and saw the detonator the scientist used. Naruto pressed and held the button to scan it. Nothing in the database about it, Naruto replied before turning his vision off. Hearing a door open, Naruto pulled his bow out and unfolded it but left the laser off. Looking to the bottom floor, they saw the balding female scientist walk out of a small room and leave. Dropping down, Batman pulled a flashlight out and looked around before landing on the wall. Oh, my Kami, Naruto said, seeing 3 pods with the 3 scientists in them. Batman pulled a knife out before cutting the balding one out. Man, who else have they replaced? Naruto asked before hearing growling. Turning around, they saw a brown dog walk up to the door, growling at them. Easy there, boy, Naruto said, but the dog jumped at him. Batman kicked the dog away before he and Naruto jumped up to the rafters. The dog started walking up the wall and changed into a white see-through alien. Of course, Naruto said, jumping down before pulling out an arrow and shooting it at the dog. It exploded in a white substance covering the dog before hardening. Damn, what else can go wrong? Naruto asked before they heard cracking and the dog broke out. But Superman. Clark was in the restroom washing his face before hearing a beeping. Quickly changing, he flew before coming to a warehouse and looked around before finding an unconscious Batman under a bookshelf and Naruto against the wall. Naruto got up from the wall and looked around. That's right, you better run, you mutt. Walking over, he picked up and folded his bow before turning to Superman, who got Batman up from the floor. Before anything else could be said, light came through the windows and they saw a meteor fly past. Go on, I'll catch up, Naruto said as Superman nodded and flew off with Batman. Naruto picked up his cell phone and dialed a number. Hey babe, can you come pick me up? I have the feeling we'll need everyone we can get. In a moment, Kara came flying in her outfit. She's wearing a white shirt with Superman's logo on it that shows her midriff, white gloves, a red cape, boots, and a blue skirt. Need a lift? She asked, picking him up and flying after Superman. When they got there, they saw Superman get hit with a laser by a tall white red spots design alien. The police that surrounded the area took shots at it, but their bullets bounced off. Naruto shot an arrow down where Superman fell and a white substance came out and cushioned his fall. You can drop me and help out, Naruto said as Kara nodded, dropped him onto a roof and flew to the alien with Superman following. Both punched it, sending it into a building. It shot another laser, sending them through a building and landing in another. AHH. Looking down, Naruto saw a black hair woman with a notepad about to be hit by a broken piece of the building. Naruto shot another arrow blowing up the piece and he landed beside her. You're Lois Lane, right? He asked as she nodded. And you're? Naruto smiled at her. I'm Cage. Lois' eyes widened. You're the new hero? How about an interview? Sweat dropping, Naruto replied. I'll give one after we deal with this. He pointed to the alien that was still shooting lasers at everyone. How would I get a hold of you? Naruto smirked before putting his fingers in a cross shape. I'll ask Superman since he saves you daily. Taj Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. The bunch of Narutos poofed around them and Naruto ordered them to help evacuate. Hearing a jet, Naruto looked up and saw a bat-shaped jet flying above attacking the alien. What the? Is he a billionaire or something? He asked before a clone yelled out from a roof. Hey boss, there's 2 more of them. Naruto cursed. Damn it. One took a beating from the 2 strongest people on the planet and swatted them like flies. Naruto said as more jets flew in and shot missiles at the first. Cage. Turning around, Naruto saw Kara float down. Superman flew off somewhere with Batman following. She explained as Naruto looked around. Then let's follow, I have clones teleporting people out of the city. Army base outside Metropolis. Wow, wonder why Superman did that. Naruto asked, seeing the damaged tanks as he had a radio frequency play over his glasses earpiece. And we're getting reports of more landing around the world. And thanks to Cage, a new hero who teleported people out of the city, there aren't a lot of casualties. Turning it off, he and Kara landed beside Batman, who was walking in a hole in the wall. Any idea why he's doing this? Naruto asked as they walked in. None. Batman simply said, pushing an open door. Oh my god, Kara exclaimed, seeing the room filled with people in pods. Naruto pushed the button on his glasses. They're alive barely. Naruto stopped as he started scanning one. This is the general station here. He exclaimed as the information came up on his lenses. Hearing pounding, they walked out of the room to see Superman pounding on a steel door. Throwing a batarang, Batman spoke up. Destroying government property isn't your style. What's going on? Looking back, Superman gestured at the door. See for yourself. Throwing the door away, they walked down the hall and through another door. What the? Naruto asked, seeing a green alien chained up in the middle of the room. What is it? Batman asked as Superman broke a console, freeing the alien. Earth's only hope, Superman replied, catching him. He's been reaching out to me telepathically, but the stasis field interfered. And when it broke through, I came to rescue him. Kara walked up at that. Why is he here? She asked as the alien looked up. The invasion. Batman, Naruto, and Kara winced a little at the telepathic voice from the alien. I came here to warn you. But was captured and imprisoned here. The alien explained as Batman raised an eyebrow. Big surprise. He replied, gesturing to his appearance. I sense you don't trust me. Perhaps this will help. The alien said before shifting into a more human shape with a blue cape with a high collar, boots, tights with a red belt, and 2 red straps crossing his chest in an X. He walked over to Batman and held out his hand. I'm John Johns. John introduced himself as Batman and just stared. Don't take it personally, John, he doesn't trust anyone, Superman said, getting in between them. The wise policy, John said before they started walking out of the building. Only to be blinded by lights. Hold it, Superman. An army soldier said as they aimed their weapons at them. Superman got in front of the group. Hold it, General Lyle. He stopped when Naruto shot an arrow at the general. The general's in a pod inside a room. Naruto said, pointing back as the army turned into white and black aliens with 3 red dots running vertically down on their faces. They picked up guns and shot laser beams at them, hitting Superman into a tank. Naruto threw a smoke pellet in front of them as Batman picked a batarang with a blinking light on it. An alien came up behind them. Look out. John yelled, going through Batman and creating a blue aura around him, protecting Batman from a blast. Naruto shot an arrow at the alien, causing it to be encased in ice. Batman threw his batarang at another group, causing an explosion. Superman and Kara jumped in front of them holding tanks. Get him out of here. We'll distract them. Batman and Naruto carried John in the jet and Batman got in the cockpit. I'll hold on to the wing. Think of it like Spider-Man. Naruto said. The soles of his boots glowed blue. He got on the right wing. As they started floating up, John opened his eyes and they flashed yellow for a second. Superman and Kara threw the tanks before flying after the others. Are we good? Batman asked as John shook his head and looked to his left. No. The bunch of triangle ships started flying after them. Superman and Kara attacked the ship, destroying a few. I got this one, Naruto said as a ship flew up beside them. He shot an arrow with a piece of paper attached to it in front of them. The arrow arched back and hit the ship, causing an explosion. Another one shot the left wing of the jet off and they started falling. Until a green ball of energy formed around them. Green Lantern? Naruto asked, seeing a man with dark skin, short hair with the sides buzzed and green eyes. He's in a black suit with green boots, gloves, and chest shoulders with a lantern logo on his chest. He's holding out his right fist with the green energy coming from a ring. The woman flew past him with light brown hair, wings, a hawk helmet, a yellow shirt, and tight black pants with red trunks, holding a mace with electricity forming around it. She attacked 2 ships, blowing them up. Hawkgirl, what's she doing here? Batman asked as John went out and attacked the ship's Green Lantern set the jet down and Naruto and Batman watched the other make short work of the ships. Hawkgirl gets hit and falls to a ledge with another woman flying down. Allow me. The woman has black hair reaching mid-back wearing a golden tiara with a red star on the front. She also has silver star earrings, an arm protector, a red top with two W's at the top, blue trunks with a white star pattern, a golden lasso, and red silver trimmed boots. The woman blocked the blast with her arm guard, sending them back to the ship. Green Lantern created a shield around them as pieces fell. "Who's the rookie in the tiara?" he asked as Superman threw a ship down. "I don't know," he replied as they flew down. "You okay?" Kara asked Naruto who put his bow on his back. "Yes, dear," he replied jokingly before she punched him in the shoulder. A man in a red suit dashed over holding Batman's wing. "Hey, Bat, you dropped this." The others floated down and he looked at the black-haired woman. "Whoa, where have you been all my life?" he asked as she blinked at him. "Themyscira," she replied, causing the man to blink. "What?" Naruto snorted before speaking. "It's an island of Amazon women Flash," Naruto replied before feeling a heated glare. "And how do you know an island with only women on it?" Sweating, Naruto turned to his girlfriend. "I've read up on it. The internet's a wonderful thing. I am Diana, Princess of Themyscira." Diana introduced herself. "Pinch me, I must be dreaming," Flash said before Superman roughly elbowed him. John went on to explain that the aliens invaded his home and stopped them with nerve gas, with him being the only survivor until the astronauts woke them up. 8. They've sent agents to weaken Earth's defensive. Naruto's eyes widened at that. "Like getting rid of our nuclear missiles. I think it's a big coincidence that we got invaded as soon as we got rid of them." Suddenly he heard something on his earpiece. Turning to Batman he spoke up. "Do you have a small projector to hook up to my glasses?" he asked, removing his hood. Nodding, Batman took out a small projector. Naruto removed his glasses, plugged the projector into them, and aimed the projector at the ground. News report: Metropolis Live. This is Snapper Carr from Ground Zero in Metropolis, where the alien walkers continue to clear the impact site. A male reporter with short brown hair said as the army roped off the area. Snapper turned to a balding gray-haired man with dark skin in a general uniform. "General Wells' army seems to be unable to stop them. Why?" General Wells shook his head. "Because our big missiles have been disarmed. And our protector Superman has abandoned us." He walked away as Snapper turned to the camera. Earlier Senator Carter had this to say. "They went to a press conference with a man in a black suit, blue tie, and short brown hair. When I first proposed my peace plan, no one expected an invasion like this," Carter explained to the reporters. "Now we must rise and resist this invasion." He finished as they went back to Snapper Carr. "We have a breaking development." He turned to the meteor that started cracking before 3 tentacles came out. Everyone gasped as it transformed into a big machine that started drilling into the ground, producing smoke that started covering the sky. And Naruto unplugged the projector and put his glasses back on. "It's begun," John said, looking towards the city and seeing the smoke. "What are they doing?" Hawkgirl asked as John explained. "They're nocturnal, they're blocking out the sun." Naruto raised an eyebrow at him. "You mean the sun's their weakness? Are they related to the War of the Worlds aliens? Where they died from the common cold?" Flash walked up to John. "Can you make any more of that gas?" John shook his head. "No, the only way to make it is from a rare Martian plant. And the only sample I brought was destroyed when I was captured." Diana puts her hands on her hips. "Then we take out those factories." Green Lantern scoffed. "Lady, this is no job for amateurs." Diana started bickering with him until Naruto got between them. "Okay GL, we need all the help we can get, and she's proved herself just now saving Hawkgirl's ass. And besides, without that ring, you're pretty much powerless, so don't get all high and mighty," Naruto said before holding his ring up, making his suit disappear. Naruto threw his ring back and walked over to the others. "Okay, let's split up and get to each one." Flash ran up to Diana and wrapped an arm around her shoulders. "I call the Amazon." Diana just looked back at the group. Later, Batman, Naruto, who's scanning the factory with his glasses, Kara and Diana are hiding behind some rubble. "Hiding's for cowards, why not fight?" Diana asked before John phased up from the ground. "I cannot find an entrance." Diana looked at the alien walker. "Then we'll make one." She flew past Naruto and Kara. Naruto let go of his glasses and turned to Kara. "Want to go help?" Kara just flew over and helped Diana push the walker into the factory, creating a hole. "That works," Naruto said, running up into the hole with the others, seeing the aliens run off. "They're running away," Diana exclaimed as Batman looked up to the sun as the clouds were still forming. John paused for a moment. Superman and Hawkgirl failed. Everyone turned to him. "Are you sure?" Diana asked him, getting a nod in return. Heading past some aliens, they came up to a room with a gem behind an orange shield. Attacking the alien, John phased to get the gem out but was shocked by an alien. Naruto shot an arrow at him, causing ice to form. Diana floated down to John. "Let's go," Batman ordered as everyone rushed to the door. Naruto, seeing it close behind Diana, who's carrying John, and Kara, yelled out, "Supergirl." Turning around, Kara caught the gem just as the door closed, leaving Naruto and Batman behind. "Naruto!" Kara screamed, dropping the gem, and ran to the door. Only for the door to distort from laser blasts. "No." Kara tried punching it, only for John to stop her. "It's no use." Diana looked at him. "You mean there?" Nodding, they left with Kara picking up the gem as tears fell from her eyes. Later, everyone met on top of a building. "Well?" Flash asked as John spoke up. "We've managed to get the gem from ours, and Superman and Hawkgirl are captured." He pointed at the factory. "And where's Batman and Cage?" John looked down. "Gone." Flash took a glance at Kara, who was looking at the factory, trembling a little. "They were true warriors," Diana said as they went to the factory. Once inside, they found Superman and Hawkgirl hanging upside down from the ceiling. Their eyes opened, showing red eyes as smoke blew into the room, knocking everyone out. Superman and Hawkgirl changed into aliens and carried everyone out. Later. John woke up to see Superman yelling at him as everyone was caught in the wall. An alien walked up to them before speaking in English. "Earth mightiest heroes." He changed into Senator Carter. The real Carter never returned from Mars. He explained before the ceiling opened, having a black ship come in, causing the aliens to bow. "All hail the Imperium." The Carter alien said as a big purple alien hovered out with tentacles and brought John up to it. "The last Martian." Imperium shocked John, causing him to revert to his original form. "You've defied us for centuries." John stood up. "And I will never bow before you or your kind." Imperium grabbed John and brought him inside. "What are you hiding?" he asked, shocking John. "Now." Boom. An explosion hits above the heroes while an arrow is sent flying at Carter. He caught it, only for it to explode in his face. Looking up, they saw Batman and Naruto standing on the wall with a hole in the shield holding a gem. "Cage!" Kara exclaimed, struggling to get out. Batman puts a device in the hole, causing everything to go blue. I mentally shielded them to protect them. John says as Batman uses a small torch to get Diana out while she helps get everyone out. Once Kara got free, she flew to Naruto and hugged him. "I thought I lost you," she said as everyone started creating holes in the factory, killing the alien with the sun as it peeked through the clouds. Naruto smiled before kissing her. "I'll never leave you, Kara." Letting him go, Kara turned and saw Diana wrap her lasso around the ship, keeping it from escaping. She lost her grip as the ship fired back. Kara flew up and grabbed it as Hawkgirl attacked with her mace, destroying the armor. Diana flew up and helped pull the ship back down, crashing into the factory. "It's going down." Hawkgirl yelled as everyone flew out as the factory blew up, having the clouds disappear. Landing on a building, they saw a large ship go up in the sky and disappeared. "Hopefully that's the last we'll see of them," Naruto commented as Kara held on to him. "You gonna let me go?" he asked, getting her to shake her head. Later. This is Snapper Car. In the aftermath, Superman and a team of heroes drive out pockets of resistance as everything slowly returns to normal. Snapper said, showing clips of everyone attacking alien walkers from around the world. The scene changed to Snapper at a press conference with General Wells talking to the reporters. "We got lucky this time. But what if they return?" he asked before Batman turned off his monitor and thought for a moment. "The Watchtower? Incredible." Superman said, looking down at Earth before turning to Batman. "Does your stockholders know about this, Bruce?" Batman just walked up. "Bruce? Bruce Wayne?" Naruto, with his hood down, asked, walking up to them. "Well, I guess I know how you pay for your gadgets," Naruto said as Batman explained about the Watchtower. "That felt good," Kara exclaimed, drying her hair. "I love the bathroom you put in, Naruto." Hawkgirl, with her hair wet and helmet still on, nodded. "Yeah, the hot springs are really good." Naruto smiled at them. "Yeah, I also lined the divider with lead, so if we get anyone else with X-ray powers up here, they won't be tempted." Kara floated up and wrapped her arms around his left one. "And a fully stocked kitchen," Flash commented as he and Diana, also with wet hair, had an iced matcha in their hands and walked up from another room. Diana took a sip. They don't have these on Themyscira." Flash turned to her and clanked glasses. "Stick around, princess, I'll show you the ropes." Diana smiled at him. "Maybe I will." John floated down to them. "But what does this have to do with us?" Superman walked to the window and explained how they should be a team. "What, like super friends?" Flash asked jokingly, and Superman smirked. "More like a Justice League." One by one everyone walked over and put their hands together. "I expect you to study, Kara, and not up here all the time," Superman said to Kara, who nodded. "Okay, I'll just come up here on weekends and school breaks." Looking over to Batman, Superman asked. "What about you?" Batman just stared at him. I'm not much of a people person, but when you need help, you will call me. Naruto looked around. Where's John? Looking up and seeing him, Superman flew up to talk to him. You ready to go home, Kara? Naruto asked Kara as she nodded and left with Naruto. To be continued. Now. Badgerus 5. Order. Order. An orange alien with black eyes and a horn on his forehead yelled to the talking masses in the stand that just talked louder. Silence. A male voice boomed as a light went on and a head came up on a big screen. The alien stopped talking and looked at the screen. This high tribunal has now convened. The face said as the alien sat back down. Never before has so many put aside their difference and come together for one goal. Two more heads came up and the one on the screen's left spoke in a female's voice. But never before has there been a crime so heinous to unite us in grief and revulsion. The head on the right spoke up in a male voice. We are gathered here today to seek justice. A yellow alien in a white and black trimmed robe with a blue circle on his chest and over his ears came up on a floating platform. Where is the accused? The first head asked as the alien gestured to an empty platform on the floor. Unfortunately, he's still at large. The other two heads turned to the first one for a second before the first head spoke up. Manhunters stepped forward. A group of robots with silver heads, blue gloves and boots holding rods walked up. This is no ordinary criminal, going after him will result in great peril, are you ready for that? The one in front replied. No man escapes the manhunters, show us a picture of the accused. The yellow alien pushed a button on his platform. He's a native from Earth. An image of John in his Green Lantern uniform came up. The Green Lantern, John Stewart. Naruto Kent Farm. A shirtless Naruto in blue jeans was standing on a cart putting bales of hay in the loft of the barn listening to the radio. Take a little ride with you. The song played as he heard a voice from behind him. Hey, handsome. Turning around, he saw Kara in blue jeans and a tank top standing beside another girl with long red hair, green eyes, dark pants, and a blue shirt. He jumped down with a smile. Hey, beautiful. Kara, noticing the other girl was staring, elbowed her. You're drooling. She said with a smirk as the girl turned to her. Sorry, not many guys our age have a six-pack. Naruto put on a sleeveless black shirt and walked over to them. I'm Naruto. Naruto greeted as the girl smiled. I'm Barbara. Naruto took a glance at Kara. Is this the same Barbara who's Batgirl? Barbara's eyes widened. You told your boyfriend who I am? Naruto smiled as he waved his arms. It's okay, I'm a hero also. I'm Cage. Barbara's eyes widened as she stared at one of the heroes who saved the world. You're Cage? She asked before running to the door where her book bag was. She came back with a pen and book. Can I have your autograph? Smiling, Naruto nodded. Hey, you never ask me for my autograph, Kara whined, crossing her arms. I knew you, Clark and Bruce before the invasion. Besides, Naruto's one of the few heroes our age that isn't a sidekick. Kara looked offended at that. Hey. I'm not a sidekick. Barbara looked over to her and smirked. You help out Clark more times than stopping crime yourself. Kara grumbled as Naruto wrapped an arm around her. Don't worry, Kara. One day you'll be as awesome as me. He said, grinning before Kara elbowed him in the gut, smiling as he grunted. Cage, can you read me? John's voice came over his earpiece. Naruto puts a finger over his right ear. Cage here. He replied as the girls looked at him. We have a small group of aliens coming down. Nodding, Naruto replied. Okay, where are they heading? We don't know, and everyone but Hawkgirl, Flash, and I are on another mission, we're busy. Naruto sighed before replying. Okay, I and Kara will get ready, so send us the coordinates when you can. He finished before turning back to the girls. It looks like more aliens are attacking, but it's a small group. Kara ran and came back a few seconds later in her costume. Okay, I'll change in an empty room in the barn, so wait a minute. Naruto walked out to his car as Barbara looked at Kara. I can help if you want. Kara thought for a moment before replying. Okay, but stay near me or Naruto to be safe. Barbara nodded before picking up her bag and going behind some hay to change. Naruto came out with his red costume with his hood down and glasses on. Did I hear Barbara's coming with? Kara nodded as they waited for Barbara to change. She came out in a tight black bodysuit with a blue-yellow cape, yellow boots, gloves, bat logo, and belt. Any chance I could convince you to get a full bodysuit? Naruto asked Kara, who blushed. Pervert. Naruto chuckled before pulling a rope from a pocket on his cargo pants. Well, Kara can fly us to the others. Grabbing the rope, Kara floated up as Barbara and Naruto grabbed on and were lifted. When they got to the others, they saw Hawkgirl standing in front of a group of robots as people ran from their cars. Suddenly she was sent flying towards them. Go help the other Supergirl, Naruto said, letting go of the rope and caught Hawkgirl in a bridal carry. You alright? He asked, letting her down as she nodded. Yes, thank you. She flew off to fight the robots with Naruto looking at them. Pushing the button on his glasses, he scanned one that attacked John with its rod, shocking him. Robots and those rods seem to be like tasers. Better keep the strong jutsu as a last-ditch move since there are civilians here. Naruto thought before creating a ball in his hand. Hawkgirl hit one of the robots in the back of the head and attacked another one whose rod lengthened into a staff and aimed it at her, electricity coming off the end. Rasengan, spiraling sphere. Naruto jumps on the robot, sending it onto the pavement before jumping away as Batgirl throws a batarang at it, hitting it and shocked it. Supergirl attacked one by ramming it into a brick wall before getting hit by electricity. Suddenly, Superman came and punched it. "What's going on?" he asked as Flash ran up to him. "Don't know. They're looking for Green Lantern," he replied just before being shocked by another robot standing on a car. Naruto pushed the red button on his bow before picking an arrow out with a dull end. Picture the ones Green Arrow uses. He shot the arrow, hitting the robot in the back of the neck, but nothing happened. John jumped down on the robot, crushing the car. John walked ahead as the robot picked up the car and threw it at John. Flash pushed John out of the way as Superman caught the car and Naruto and Barbara attacked by shocking it with arrows and batarangs. Supergirl flew down on it and kicked it down before flying over to the others. Everyone stared at the robots as Naruto made a bigger Rasengan, spiraling sphere. Superman and Supergirl shot lasers at them as Naruto dashed over. Adama Rasengan, big ball spiraling sphere. A green brick wall formed in between them, having the lasers, and Naruto's attack hit it. "Stop!" Green Lantern yelled as he floated down. "Better late than never," Flash said with Green Lantern looking at him before walking to the robots. "Are you the Green Lantern known as John Stewart?" one asked as Green Lantern nodded. "Yes." The robot held out his hand. "Your ring." John looked at his ring for a moment before handing it over. "What the hell are you doing?" Naruto asked before John glanced back. "Stay out of this." Two other robots then put cuffs on him that covered him from his wrists up to his elbow. A yellow beam came down, causing John and the robots to disappear. Everyone glanced at each other for a moment. "We should find them," Kara exclaimed as Naruto walked over and picked his arrow up. "Where would we start?" Hawkgirl asked with Naruto holding his arrow up. "Well, I tagged one." Looking down, they saw his arrow was missing the top part. "Watchtower?" Naruto, with his hood down and glasses hanging off the front of his shirt, looked as if a dot moved across a map of the galaxy. "Know where he is yet?" Barbara asked walking up to him. Naruto shook his head. "No, they're still moving." After a moment the dot stopped. "Scratch that." Naruto tapped the dot and a name popped up. Agiris 5. The others walked up. "Okay, Kara, you'll stay here to help Batman and Diana." Kara looked at Superman. "What, why?" Superman started walking up to the hangar as Naruto explained. "You're as strong as Superman. Batman and Diana could use your help if anything goes wrong while we're gone." Sighing, Kara nodded. "Why don't you show Barbara around the tower?" Naruto said, walking to catch up with the rest. "Why don't I show you the bath Naruto helped install?" Later, both Kara and Barbara are in the bathroom leaning against the ground. It looks like a Japanese bathhouse with vents around the top of the wall. "What's the vents for?" Barbara asked as Kara reached to one of the fake rocks, opened it and pulled a remote out. "To let the steam out." She pressed a button and a TV came out of the wall in front of them. "So, anyway, I can join the league?" Kara looked over to her and shook her head. "No. Not yet at least." Barbara raised an eyebrow. "What, why not? You and Naruto are around my age." Kara sighed and started to explain. "I know. But the public is still afraid of us. Mainly Clark and I. We'll have to wait until everything calms down before we add more one. I mean, we have talked about at least keeping in contact with other heroes if we need help." Kara and Barbara continued to talk. But the others towards Agiris 5. "Why would he give up his ring? It just doesn't make sense." Hawkgirl commented as she was flying the jet beside Superman. "Maybe he didn't want to cause trouble for the Green Lantern Corps or for Earth. He must at least have known what they have wanted." Naruto commented from the back behind Flash and John. "John's a strange one, that's for sure," Superman said with Hawkgirl looking at him. "I'm beginning to think all you humans are strange." Naruto and Superman looked at her. "Sorry." She apologized as Superman smiled. "It's alright, I take it as a compliment," he replied as Naruto chuckled. "And I'm not technically from Earth." Superman reached to push a button but was attacked by a ship before he could. Flash quickly typed on the keyboard on his seat. "They're not responding to our signal," he yelled out as Hawkgirl reached to pull a lever. "If they want to fight, then they got." Superman stopped her before she could do anything. "No, we're not starting a war." He stood up and walked back. "Flash, Cage, take the controls," he ordered as he, Hawkgirl, and John flew out to take care of the ships. "You wouldn't know how to fly a jet, would you?" Flash asked as Cage ran up to the wheel. "I've been reading up and taking lessons." But this would be my first time flying the jet. He pushed the button on his glasses before handing them to Flash. The lessons are coming up, I hope you're a fast learner. Naruto pushed a few buttons before looking back and seeing the others taking the ships down, but leaving them to land safely. Naruto weaved through a few narrow buildings before landing on top of another one. Well, that went well, Naruto commented before opening the door, only to see a bunch of guards. Taking his glasses back, Naruto threw a smoke bomb down before turning on his detective vision. Seeing the guards clearly, he knocked out everyone. The others flew down, and John looked back to a dome-shaped building. Green Lantern is there. They flew up with John taking Flash and Hawkgirl taking Naruto up to the glass ceiling. Superman made a hole with his laser and flew in with the others following. Stop the intruders. Looking up, they saw 3 faces on a screen. 2 guards flew over on platforms, only for Superman to throw them across the room. The manhunters started walking over until Superman yelled. Stop. He turned to the heads. We're sorry for interrupting, but Jon Stewart is our friend. One head glanced over. This is a public trial. The head said in a female's voice. Very well, you may take seats in the galley. The second said in a male's voice. But this tribunal won't tolerate any more outbursts. The third said also in a male's voice. Nodding, the group walked onto a platform and went to find seats. Are you ready to call your first witness? The head in the middle asked the alien prosecutor. Yes, my lord. I call Kanjaro. A human-looking alien in a blue outfit with a sleeveless shirt and a helmet covering his face walked in and came up to a guard. Kanjaro, you agree to let us probe and display any and all memories? Kanjaro scoffed and walked to a platform. I've got nothing to hide. He went up to the prosecutor. State your name and profession. Kanjaro lifted his visor, showing insect-like eyes. Kanjaro, I'm a pirate. The prosecutor raised his eyebrow. The criminal. Yet you came to bear witness to a crime, why? Kanjaro pointed to himself and explained. I may steal things, but it's nothing compared to what he did. He pointed to John as the crowd whispered among themselves. Naruto with his hood off looked at Kanjaro and narrowed his eyes. He turned on his detective vision and a box with Kanjaro's heartbeat and pulse came up on his lenses. Superman, check his heart. Superman looked confused but looked at Kanjaro. His heart's racing. Naruto nodded. Yeah, he's lying. Hawkgirl leaned over to them. Then we should tell them. Naruto looked over to her. They could just say Superman's lying and that I rigged these. We did say John's our friend when we came in. They'll just assume we're trying to rig evidence to help him out. Hawkgirl huffed and crossed her arms. Lawyers can twist things around to help their case. Naruto finished turning back to the trial. The white light came down on Kanjaro and he explained what John did. His memories were broadcasted showing John stopping him, being attacked by other ships and a beam from his ring deflecting onto another planet and causing it to explode. 3 billion. That's how many died. Kanjaro finished before floating down. Recess was called and the others walked down to talk to John. So you're just clearing your name? Is that why you didn't put up a fight back on Earth? Flash asked as John glared. I told you to stay out of this. Naruto walked up to him, passing and brushing against Kanjaro. Kanjaro is lying about something. John looked up to where Agiris 4 was. You see that? I did it, I'm guilty. He was then taken to his holding cell. 3 billion died. I'm not buying it. Flash said as Superman thought for a second. I don't either. He walked over and glanced up to the sky. I want to take a closer look. Hawkgirl looked at him. Why? John says he's guilty and no one's disputing the facts. Superman turned and walked up to John. Maybe I am. John, I need you to come with me. He turned to the others. Flash, Cage, Hawkgirl, can you buy us some time? Naruto crossed his arms before replying. We'll do our best. He and the others went back to the top of the stands as Superman and John left. Later, John stood back up with Kanjaro floating beside him. Jon Stewart, you may now question your accuser. The head in the middle said as John looked down. No questions. Are you sure? You do have the right to defend yourself. The female said as John nodded. I object. This trial's a farce. Flash yelled out. What are you doing? Hawkgirl hissed at him. Buying time, Flash replied before speeding down. You should hear both sides before passing judgment. The heads looked at each other. We don't want any lingering doubts about our judgment. The female said as the other heads agreed. Who will defend him? The second head asked as Flash looked up to them. Don't you have any lawyers? The first head looked down before replying. No, we took care of the lawyers long ago. The female head continued for the first head. But you could speak for him. But you'll share his judgment. Flash's eyes widened and looked at John. What, that's crazy. The first head looked back at him. That's how we solved our lawyer problem. Flash floated up. Before I begin, I would like to talk about Corpus. Naruto face-palmed as Flash rambled. I have a feeling this will end badly. He said before noticing Hawkgirl leaving. Following her, they came to the cafeteria and saw a group of Green Lanterns eating at a table. Why aren't you at the trial? She asked as one scoffed. Why? We know what's going to happen. Johns gave us a bad name. Hawkgirl growled, having Naruto take a few steps away from her. She attacked him with her mace and he blocked her using his ring. The bartender ran over waving his tentacles. Friend, please, no weapons, no weapons. Hawkgirl looked at him. You think I need this to fight? She threw her mace at a support beam and continued to fight as Naruto sat down beside a Green Lantern who wasn't fighting. Not going to help your lady friend? He asked Naruto, who shook his head. No, she would kick my ass if I try to help. He replied as the Green Lantern took a sip of his drink. I'm Kilowog. Why are you defending John? Kilowog asked, catching a Green Lantern from going through the window. He's my friend, what else do I need? Kilowog just raised an eyebrow. A friend will bail you out of jail, but a true friend will be right beside you smoking a cigarette, saying damn that was fun. I think Flash would be in that group if John's found guilty. Kilowog looked at the fight, stood up and broke it up. Enough. She's right, John's one of us, so we should do all we can to help. He flew off with Hawkgirl carrying Naruto following. Looking down, they saw Kanjaro talking to a manhunter. Looking at each other, they flew off in another direction, going to a roof, and watched them. Looks like the manhunters are also in on this, Naruto commented, seeing Kanjaro run off. They followed him to his ship. There's one we can borrow, Naruto said, pointing to an empty ship. Heading in it, they followed Kanjaro to where Superman and John are looking at a machine on the moon. Get me clothes, Naruto said, putting on a spacesuit. As she did that, Naruto disappeared in a gold flash and reappeared beside Kanjaro. Putting a kunai to his throat, he whispered to him. Land, now. Gulping, he landed on a smooth surface beside Superman. How did you get in his ship? Superman asked as Hawkgirl landed. I put a marker on him when he walked past us at recess, Naruto explained as Hawkgirl flew out and landed beside him. We followed him from Agiris 5. John pointed to him before asking. He's behind this? He then pointed to the big machine behind him. No, the manhunters seem to be, Naruto explained before Superman and John left with Kanjaro. Wait for our signal before destroying it, Superman ordered as they flew away. As they waited, Naruto formed a green ball that took the shape of a shrunken. John is innocent. They heard Superman yell from their earpiece. Naruto turned to Hawkgirl before throwing a tri-pronged kunai down. I got it. He ran up and it was the machine. Pton. Rasen Shuriken, wind release. Spiraling Shuriken. Naruto flashed back before his attack expanded and destroyed the machine. Looking up, they saw a planet reappear. Well, let's go back. Naruto said, getting in their ship and flew back. They saw them with small elderly aliens in red-black trimmed robes with the Green Lantern logo on them. The manhunters are attacking Oa, Superman said before Green Lantern formed a ball around them and took them to Oa. When they got there, they saw the manhunters attacking the city. Dropping from the ball, everyone attacked with the help of other Green Lanterns. Superman plowed through as many as he could, shooting lasers at the ones in the air. Flash and Naruto took care of the ones on the ground, with Naruto throwing a bunch of tri-pronged kunai and cutting the heads off the ones near them. Suddenly, green energy came out of a building with a silhouette of a manhunter in it. Then all of the Green Lanterns started losing their powers. The energy disappeared. Beware my power, Green Lantern's light. John's voice yelled out as the energy came back, shooting the silhouette away. Soon all the manhunters were taken care of. The League sat talking to the other Green Lanterns. You're some fighter, lady. One said to Hawkgirl, who's smiling at the compliment. But we already knew that. Another one said, rubbing his jaw. Naruto elbowed her, smirking. You're blushing. She turned around to glare at him. I am not. She said, only causing his smirk to widen. John floated down and the others gathered around him. You alright, John? John asked as Green Lantern nodded. You believed in me even when I didn't. Flash sped up to him. What are friends for? Naruto snorted at that. Yeah, Speedster here was going to die with you. Green Lantern formed another ball around them. Let's go home. He said as they started floating up. Later at the watchtower. Naruto with his hood down was looking down at the earth as he and Hawkgirl were doing guard duty. So why don't you tell me about yourself? Hawkgirl looked up from typing on the computer. Why? She asked, making him shrug. You're my friend, I just want to know you. You were a cop back in Thanagar, right? She nodded before replying. A detective. Naruto walked over and stopped beside her. What's your real name? She looked back up to him. I don't want to call you Hawkgirl all the time. She looked down for a moment before replying. Shiera Hole. Naruto smiled down at her. Nice name. Shiera continued to type on the computer. You know. Flash was asking me questions before the manhunters came down. He had an ulterior motive though. she said, making Naruto snort. I don't blame him, you're hot. But unlike him, I'm not trying to get in your pants unless I can talk Kara into a three-way. He was forced to dodge a wrench that Shayera threw at him. So is that a no? He asked as she glared at him. You have until the count of 10. She threatened before she started counting down. I'm sure I can convince her. She stood up and turned to him. 0. She yelled and started chasing him around the room. Get back here so I can kill you. Naruto glanced back at her smiling. Come on, that was funny. She continued chasing him, and that was the scene the others came to as they walked in. Seeing his chance, Naruto dashed past them and ran to the hangar. Anyone going down? He asked before Kara flew after him. Naruto's house night. Naruto, Kara, and Barbara are in Naruto's backyard sitting around a fire pit roasting marshmallows. I can't believe you did that, Kara said as Naruto put his marshmallow on a graham cracker with chocolate. I was kidding, like 85%. She glared at him as he ate. I was kidding. Hunter walked over with a steak in his mouth. So you stopped a coup? Barbara asked, eating her s'more. Naruto nodded. Yeah, the Manhunters became self-aware basically and wanted revenge on the Guardians, Naruto explained, standing up. Want to camp out tonight? It's a nice night. Barbara nodded. Yeah, it's Friday, so why not? I'll call Dad and let him know. She got up and walked away a few feet. Want to go get an extra pajama for her? Naruto asked Kara, who nodded. She flew away as Naruto walked inside and got 2 tents. As he was setting them up, Kara flew back with 2 pajamas in her hands. Go change while I finish up here. The girls went inside, leaving Naruto to finish up. Do you have a radio or anything? Naruto asked the girls from outside. Yeah, we'll listen to music before going to bed. Kara replied as she and Kara came out in blue pajamas and short-sleeved shirts. Naruto walked inside, giving Kara a kiss as he passed her, and in a few minutes came out in just a red pajama pant with a small radio. He turned it on, and the three started taking it as Hunter walked up and lay down beside Barbara. Don't worry, he won't bite, Naruto said, seeing the slightly scared look Barbara gave. She hesitantly started petting him, and he leaned against her hand. See, I told you. Barbara smiled as she continued petting Hunter. Is it alright if I help you on your patrols tomorrow? I told Dad I'm staying with Kara for the weekend. Shrugging, Naruto replied. Sure, I don't see why not. We can even be a team. I know other heroes Sid apprentices that form a team from time to time. Naruto corrected himself, seeing Kara's glare. And what would we call ourselves? Barbara asked, resting her head on her hand. It can't be the Justice League. Naruto thought for a moment before smiling. How about Team Young Justice? The girls just stared at him. What? You don't think it will catch on? He asked as they continued to talk. Kara looked up and saw a meteor shower. Hey, look. Looking up, Barbara gasped. Wow, you don't see that in the city. She said as Naruto looked up. Yeah, it's one reason I moved out here. They continued to talk throughout the night. To be continued. Now. Ocean, USS Defiant, submarine. Sir, unidentified craft approaching. A man said, looking at the radar. Bearing 010. The captain, a dark-skinned man with a mustache, walked over and looked down. At this depth. Establish radio contact. He ordered a woman behind him, who nodded and pressed a few buttons. I've tried all frequencies, no responses. Whatever it is, it's big and closing in fast. The first man said as the captain turned forward. Evasive maneuvers. Down 20 degrees. The sub started sinking deeper as a big jet-looking sub sailed up to them. It's still closing, sir. The first man yelled before they were rammed. A red light and alarm came on while the sub shook. Damage report. The captain yelled as the woman looked at her screen. Starboard's rudders are out. The first man looked at his screen. The hostile craft's returning. The captain pulled down a receiver and gave out orders. Prepare torpedo tubes. The first man turned to him. There's no time. They were rammed again. This is the USS Defiant. We've sustained heavy damage, we're going down. Repeat, we're going down. The woman gave out a distress signal as they crashed on the ocean floor. Naruto, Superman, Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman. A few minutes later. Lightning flashed as they were flying in a storm to where the distress signal from the USS Defiant is signaling. So any idea what happened? Naruto asked Superman, who looked over to him. They could have just scraped up against something. But we should be ready for anything. He explained as Green Lantern spoke out. USS Defiant, this is the Justice League, help is on the way. They went underneath the water and started looking for the sub. I've locked onto the distress beacon, we're close. Wonder Woman said, looking at the screen as Superman stood up and pointed ahead. We're not the only ones. In front of them is a huge sub that started firing at them. Green Lantern dodged the missiles and led the ship into a canyon, eventually getting the sub caught in it. Ha! Lost them. Green Lantern said before looking forward and seeing 2 more subs. Yeah, you lost them. Naruto replied sarcastically as Superman stood up, opened a compartment and took out a breathing mask. Those sailors won't stand a chance if we keep playing cat and mouse, let's go. Cage, take the controls. He ordered, walking out with Wonder Woman and Green Lantern. Okay, I see why you brought me now. Naruto said to them as a wall came up to keep water from getting in. Holy crap. Naruto cursed, dodging missiles that were shot at the ship. Doesn't maneuver as well in water. He commented, seeing the others attack the subs and destroying them. He then saw another sub come up with people all but one in black and silver armor on jet skies. Naruto saw a man in green gold armor with blonde hair, mustache, goatee, silver earrings and necklace, holding a trident, talking to the others. He held down the button on his glasses and scanned the blonde-haired man. Let's see. It says his name is Arthur, aka as Aquaman, and he's the king of Atlantis. I thought Bruce was messing with me when he put that in. Naruto said, looking on as the others were able to get the sailors out with Green Lantern's ring. Hearing the wall come down, Naruto turned and saw Wonder Woman walk in, taking her mask off. So how did it go? He asked as Wonder Woman sat beside him and buckled up. We'll have to leave the sub, but we're taking the people. Naruto looked back to Aquaman. Doesn't he know that could pollute the ocean? What if something or someone causes an accident? He asked again as they floated up to the top and went in the air. We don't want to get on his bad side. Superman is convincing him to go to the World Assembly to talk. She replied, hitting another button and switching to flying mode and following after Green Lantern. Naruto took a glance back, seeing Superman talking to Aquaman. Atlantis throne room. The surface dwellers are barbaric. They sail their weapons in our sea and polluted. A soldier with a black goatee said to Atlantis's ruler, and a man in green robes with long brown hair and a ponytail standing beside him. There's only one way to make sure Atlantis is safe. And my troops are ready to take action. He finished as a woman with long red hair in a green dress and eyes with a golden spiked tiara walked up holding a baby boy with blonde hair and green eyes, walked up and stood beside Aquaman. What kind of action? Arthur asked the soldier. We have the technology to wipe them off the face of the earth, just give the order. Aquaman took a breath before replying. General Brack, I decide policy, her, not you. General Brack eyes widened before talking again. How long must we stay back? The brown-haired man stepped forward, raising his hand. General Brack, your king has spoken. He said as General Brack stood back and bowed. I'm sorry, your highness. Aquaman looked to the woman for a moment before turning back. General Brack, I'll consider your plan. But this is serious, I'll need time on the matter. He left with the woman following after him. Later on, Arthur was with his wife holding their son. His son reached up, grabbed some of his hair and tugged down. Aquaman chuckled at him. He has a strong grip, Mara. Mara walked over and smiled. He takes after his father. Their son soon fell asleep, and after putting him in his crib, Arthur sighed. What kind of future am I making for our son? He asked, pacing around the room. Whatever you decide, I'm sure it'll be the right decision. She held his hands in her own. Your hands are strong and noble, I'll gladly place my fate in them. She gave him a quick kiss and left the room, leaving Arthur to his thoughts. At the watchtower. I'm sorry, General, lives were at stake, there was nothing we could do. Superman said into his phone. The others are on the other side talking. The Admiral's right. We shouldn't have left the sub, and it's in the hands of a madman. Green Lantern angrily said as Wonder Woman turned to him. He's not a madman. He's just looking out for his people. Naruto raised his arm. Took the words out of my mouth. It's kind of how the leaders of my world are, at the end of the day they look out only for their own village. Green Lantern snorted before walking away. Who's going to protect us from him? Naruto deadpanned at his retreating form. Isn't that our job? I mean, we defeated bigger problems than him, remember the invasion? The Manhunters. Green Lantern didn't reply as he went to the hangar. Naruto sighed before turning to Wonder Woman. I've meant to ask you about your island. I knew a village that was similar to it. Wonder Woman turned to him and raised an eyebrow. Really? He nodded before explaining. Yeah, except they didn't hate men and would marry the one who defeated them in combat. I met one right before coming here. He went into telling her about Shizuka. So, do you still miss your friends? She asked as he gave a small smile. Sometimes, but I still keep in contact with them every now and then. They continued to make small talk until they heard a scream. Naruto. Flash came speeding in, wearing a pink uniform. Hey Flash, anything up? Naruto asked as if nothing was wrong. Flash just glared at him before pointing at himself as Wonder Woman snickered. What the hell did you do to my costume? These aren't cheap, you know. Hawkgirl and Supergirl came in, saw Flash, and fell down laughing. It's not funny. He yelled over to them before turning back to Naruto only to find him gone. I'll get you back for this. He yelled into his earpiece before speeding away. Later, Naruto was changing channels on the TV as Green Lantern stormed up to Wonder Woman and John. I knew we couldn't trust that fishman. The sub stripped and the plutonium is gone. Naruto looked back as they talked. And you think Aquaman's responsible? Wonder Woman asked him as he snorted. Who else, princess? Naruto spoke up from his spot. Maybe someone wants to frame him. They turned to him as he explained. This happens quite a lot in my world, people would frame a leader for something to discredit them or usurp them. Naruto turned back to the TV and continued. Truth be told, I was framed for killing Jonin in 2 villages and attempted murder of the leader of another village. He finished as he continued flipping through channels. Aquaman then barged through. He passed the channel before pausing. Changing back, he spoke up to the others behind him. Guys, Aquaman's not in Atlantis. The others walked up and saw Snapper Carr at the World Assembly. Aquaman at the World Assembly. First you steal a nuclear sub, then you threatened us with peace, who gave you the right? A diplomat asked as Aquaman crossed his arms. I'm the born ruler of Atlantis. Everyone started arguing with him until Superman, with the others, burst through the door. Aquaman, wait. Naruto walked in front of him and puts a hand on his shoulder. These things will take time, besides they're looking out for their people like you're looking out for yours. Naruto took a step back as Aquaman looked at the diplomats for a moment before walking out. Wait. Wonder Woman walked in front of him, only for Aquaman to roughly push her to Naruto. Wow, his wife's a lucky woman if she could handle him. He commented following after Atlantis' ruler. When they got to the doors, they saw Aquaman walk past the reporters. Naruto then noticed a shine out of the corner of his eyes and looked up at the building to his left. Eyes widening, he threw a tri-pronged kunai near Aquaman and flashed to him just as a missile hits them. Both Naruto and Aquaman were then thrown into a stone fountain, breaking it. No. Superman whispered as he flew over and saw Naruto with blood coming down his face and Aquaman's eyes rolling back into his head. Metropolis News. And after the explosion, the Justice League took both Cage and Aquaman to the hospital. Snapper Carr reported as the scene of Superman with Aquaman and Wonder Woman with Naruto flying off from the scene played. We have just received word that thanks to Cage, Aquaman didn't suffer any major damage and will be fine. He's expected to make a full recovery. General Brack turned off the screen as a brown-haired man in Aquaman's robes walked in. Even if he's alright, we can't let this attack go unpunished. He said as General Brack walked up. With all due respect, Lord Orm, but you don't have the authority to give orders. The king is Orm interrupted him. The king's injured and they could have lied so we wouldn't retaliate, or they could attack him while he's recovering. And the prince is still an infant. General Brack continued explaining. Even so, the law must. Orm interrupted him again. The prince will take the throne when he comes of age. Mara walked in with a worried look. Orm, did you hear? She asked as Orm walked up and hugged her. Oh dear Mara, I'm so sorry for your loss. Mara broke the hug and looked at him. You speak as if he died. Orm sighed before explaining. He may be, all we know is he could have been attacked again, or they're not giving us the full report. Metropolis Hospital. How are they, doctor? Wonder Woman asked the doctor as he walked out from working on Aquaman and Naruto. Well, Aquaman's vitals are stable, but he has a concussion and we can't pierce his skin to help him. Green Lantern walked up. And what about Cage? The doctor looked at the window. Cage took the worst, with bruised ribs, internal bleeding, and a nasty bump on the head. He's healing very fast, I've never seen anything like it. I can help Aquaman. They turned around and saw Batman walk out of the shadows. They rushed Aquaman to the room. Batman set up a healing tank and put him in it. Batman gave the doctor a clipboard. Keep saline levels at 3.3%. Before anything else could be said, they heard a female's voice yell out. Where is he? Supergirl flew in the door, tears running down her face. Where's Cage? Superman pointed down the hall. Room 300. Nodding, Supergirl sped down the hall and into the room. Later. Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, John, Naruto with bandages covering his neck and shoulders with Supergirl pestering him, and Green Lantern, who's watching the reporters outside, are looking at Aquaman. Supergirl, I'm fine, everything, but a few bruises are healed. That didn't stop Supergirl. I was scared. Okay. When I get my hands on the person. Naruto silenced her with a kiss. I'm fine. Thanks for the concern. He's coming too. Superman said, seeing Aquaman move. Green Lantern walked over to the front of the tube. Good, now maybe we can get some answers. He started banging on the tube. Don't you go to the aquarium? You're not supposed to tap the glass. Naruto said as Green Lantern ignored him. What did you do with the plutonium? Aquaman woke up, looked at him, and jumped out of the tube. Plutonium? He asked as Green Lantern glared at him. The ones on the sub. You stole it. Aquaman looked at him confused. My orders were to leave the sub as it laid. Naruto thought for a second before asking Aquaman a question. Do you have anyone who'd want to start a war? Or possibly take your throne? Aquaman turned to him. My general tried to convince me to attack, but I gave orders to stand down. And after you had come up here, you have an assassin after you, I think someone wants you dead to start a war. Naruto finished as Aquaman started walking out. Wait, I can help. Batman said as Aquaman turned to him and raised an eyebrow. Outside, paramedics were taking Aquaman to an ambulance as reporters started swarming around them as the Justice League are watching from on top of surrounding buildings. I hope your plan works, Batman. Wonder Woman said into her earpiece as Naruto looked around with his glasses. I see someone. He said, pointing down at the ground at a man beside a mailbox. I see him. Batman replied, throwing a batarang at the man who's aiming a bazooka at the hospital and hits it, causing the missile to hit the ground. The man ran into a manhole as Superman followed and tried opening it, only to be shocked when he touched it. Batman and John came down and John phased down to the man now in a red silver trimmed suit, past him riding on a bike. Paige, Diana, he's headed towards you. Wonder Woman and Naruto jumped down and Wonder Woman punched the pavement, created a hole just as the man passed. Wonder Woman flew ahead and dropped down to him. End of the line. She said, but the man fired up and made debris fall on her. Up above, Naruto followed him using his detective vision. Okay, Batman threw down some claptraps, so that should stop him. Ouch. Naruto said, seeing the man crash. Okay, Batman, now just get him. He finished seeing Batman walk up. He saw the man throw a smoke bomb and ran off. Following him, Naruto caught him getting into a van and speed off. Getting his bow, Naruto picked up an arrow with white writing on the shaft. He shot the van and flashed to it, sticking on it with chakra. Walking to the roof, he started going through hand signs. Doten. Suppeku no Jutsu, Earth Release. Spike Jutsu. 1. Spikes came up a few feet away and popped the tires of the van. Naruto jumped off as it crashed. Superman flew over and picked the man out. Dead shot. Naruto asked as Supergirl floated down. You know him, Cage? I've run into him a few times, he's a hired gun. The others came down and Wonder Woman walked up. Who paid you? Deadshot looked over to her. Now come on, babe, I can't say, professional ethics. He looked her up and down, checking her out. But if you make it worth my while, Batman then took him a few feet away as car aside. Pervert. Naruto looked to her and smirked. Well, you heroines and villainesses are hot and dress in revealing clothing. I don't blame him for checking her out. Kara punched him lightly in the arm, getting him to wince. So do you check them out also? She asked as he started sweating. And no, never, honey. Supergirl snorted and crossed her arms. Yeah, right. Batman brought Deadshot back and started asking questions. Who hired you? Deadshot brushed off some dust before answering. I don't know their name, I never ask questions. Batman just glared at him. Not good enough, how were you paid? Deadshot turned to the back of his van, showing an open chest with gold coins and small statues. In gold. Batman walked over and picked one up. Spanish doubloons. Everyone looked to him. Where would they get that? Naruto asked as John spoke up. Atlantis. Their eyes widened. Called it. Knew someone from there wanted him dead. Naruto said before Green Lantern floated down, rubbing his jaw. Too late to warn him, he's already heading back. Wonder Woman sighed before looking up. Hera, help him. Superman thought for a moment before turning to Supergirl. I want you to stay up here in case this person attacks while we go to Atlantis to help out Aquaman. Kara sighed as she nodded. Okay, that's a good plan. Naruto, John, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and Superman. We're coming up on Atlantis, Wonder Woman said, looking at a screen. Suddenly a sub and a bunch of men on jet skis came up in front. Go on outside, I'll take the controls and get the ship out of the way. We really need to get the jet upgraded to fight these. Naruto said as the others left to fight. I really need to find a way to help fight underwater. Naruto sighed seeing the others take care of the soldiers and sub. Only to get hit by depth charges. Well damn, I'll need to hide and help when they're alone. Later, Naruto saw them with a device on their heads, being put in a room with a glass wall coming up, filling with water. Focusing, Naruto flashed beside Wonder Woman. Need help? He asked as the water stopped and the guards started attacking the glass. He pulled the device off her and Superman, having them pull out of their restraints and attack the guards. How did you get in here? Wonder Woman asked standing over a guard. I tagged everyone with my Haration, Flying Thunder God, in case something like this happened. Naruto explained as he walked up to John and pulled the device off him and then Green Lantern. How did you walking out? Naruto saw Mera with a mace in hand. Never mind, I need help to find my husband. She said as they nodded and left to the throne room, attacking guards along the way. Later, everyone but Naruto and Wonder Woman left to search the palace. We've searched the palace. John said phasing up before Superman flew in. And we still haven't found him. Naruto's eyes widened and everyone looked to where he was staring. Aquaman walked in, holding his son who's wearing nothing. Mera ran up and hugged him. I love you're alright. She lets go and Aquaman hands her their son. So is our son. He grasps his left arm and Mara looks down. Your hand. She exclaimed seeing a blanket wrapped around where his left hand was. Where is Orm? He asked as Naruto walked up and pulled a syringe out of his pocket. This will help numb the pain. He stuck Aquaman before they took him to the doctor. The doctor was working on him as Mara and the others were watching. His own hand. Superman commented as Green Lantern crossed his arms. Told you he was a madman. Mara turned to yell at him, but Naruto spoke up. You'd be surprised what a parent will do when the life of their child's at stake. Mine took a demon's claw meant for me through their stomach an hour after I was born. Everyone turned to him but didn't press the matter further. Superman, we have a problem at the North Pole. Thermal readings show the temperature rising fast. Batman said through the earpiece. If that continues, the ecosystem effects could be catastrophic. John commented before Green Lantern spoke up. Then we should go investigate. Wonder Woman turned to look at Aquaman. What about the crisis here? Aquaman spoke up. They may be related. He went on to explain how he set up a thermal reactor to melt the polar ice caps. We should hurry and stop him. Naruto said, turning around, only for Aquaman to stop him. And he will be. Standing up, Aquaman lifts his left arm showing a silver hook replacing his hand. North Pole. Aquaman, wait. Aquaman looked up and saw Superman, Wonder Woman, John, and Green Lantern flying above him. Why are you following me? He asked with Wonder Woman replying. We want to help. Aquaman sighed as he continued walking. It's my fight. They floated in front of him. It would be easier with help. Aquaman stared at them for a moment. Just stay out of my way. Suddenly they were attacked by a missile and jumped back. Subs came out of the water and shot them again. Everyone flew at them with Green Lantern bringing Aquaman to the water and dropped him as soldiers came out and rushed them. Superman, the glaciers are starting to melt. Batman said in his earpiece as he and Naruto flew in the Batjet. And at this rate they won't last long. Naruto finished as he looked around. So where are the bat snacks? He asked as Batman sighed. I don't have any snacks and I don't put bat in front of everything. Batman replied to Naruto. So Joker was kidding when I helped you escort him to Arkham that one time? He asked before shrugging. Oh well, at least it's the worst thing he did. He said as Batman raised an eyebrow. What would have been the worst he could have done? Batman asked as Naruto glanced seeing Aquaman jump on a killer whale over some soldiers. He could have escaped, took over the asylum, and we would have spent the rest of the night rounding everyone up. He finished watching Wonder Woman attack a soldier with her lasso pulling him up in the air before dropping him in the water. We should get to the reactor. Naruto commented as Batman nodded. Exactly what I was thinking. He replied taking the jet to where the reactor signal was located. Green Lantern flew up to them. There's not much time. If the reactor isn't shut down, the world is doomed. Batman said as they closed in. I guess this is a bad time to say I told you so. Green commented as Naruto snorted. You said Aquaman's behind this, it was his brother. Landing, they went inside and saw Aquaman fighting Orm. Let's just shut down the reactor as Aquaman takes care of him. Naruto whispered as Green Lantern took them to the reactor. No. Orm shouted seeing them. Naruto shot an arrow at his feet and with a flash of light blinded him for a moment. Damn, we'll need to shut it down from inside. Batman said causing Green Lantern's eyes to widen. Can your ring protect me? He asked as Green Lantern nodded. It should. But you'll need to hurry. Green Lantern cloaked Batman who went inside. Outside Aquaman and Orm were fighting on an ice bridge just outside from where the reactor is. Orm tackled Aquaman down to a lower bridge and tried stabbing Aquaman with his trident. Aquaman kicked him away, stood up and walked over to Orm. Only for Orm to cut him with a knife. Orm stood up and pushed Aquaman against the wall. You're not fit to where the Orm stopped as the bridge collapsed except the section Aquaman was on. Hanging on, Orm looked up. Brother, help me. Aquaman bent down and picked up his trident. I believe this belongs to me. Orm slipped and screamed as he fell down below. Naruto shot an arrow down with the tip opening and clamping down near Aquaman. A rope was connected to it leading up to Naruto. Picking up the arrow, Aquaman wrapped the rope around his left arm, swung over to the other side, and climbed up. You going to be alright? He was your brother. Aquaman nodded and walked over as the reactor shut down and Batman crawled out. The threat is over. Aquaman commented as they walked out. Later Atlantis. Take them away. Aquaman ordered the soldiers who took General Brack and the soldiers who followed Orm away. Aquaman sighed and looked to the others. I can only blame myself. My fear of the surface blinded me to what I really should have feared. He said before glancing at his hook. And it had costed me greatly. Naruto raised an eyebrow at him. No, it didn't. You still have your wife and child. I think giving a hand is a small price for their safety. Aquaman walked over to look at his city. You're right. All I ever wanted was peace for Atlantis. Superman walked over to him. With all that's happened it won't be easy. Aquaman sighed and looked to his family. I know, but some sacrifices are worth it. Naruto smiled, walked up and puts his tri-pronged kunai on the throne. Throw that down if you need help or need to talk right away. He explained before he and the others left. Later at the Daily Planet. Lois Lane was walking out of the Daily Planet when she hears a voice behind her. So I did promise an interview. Turning around, she saw Naruto leaning against the wall in his costume without his bow. Taking a glance around, she saw everyone walking past them like he wasn't there. I put an illusion around us so we wouldn't be bothered. He explained as he walked over to her. There's a place we can do this alone. It may not look like it, but it's hard holding this illusion up. Looking around, Lois saw an empty balcony with tables up a few stories high. Up there. Nodding, Naruto picked her up and jumped over before running up the wall. Sorry about being late, Hawkgirl and I do guard duty at the watchtower the most since we don't have jobs. Lois shook her head. It's alright. Lois said putting a voice recorder on the table. Tell me about yourself, how did you go from a rookie hero to being one of the saviors of the world? Naruto thought for a moment before replying. Well, I'm like Superman and Supergirl. Lois raised an eyebrow. You're from another world. Naruto shook his head. I'm from another universe. He smiled at her dumbfounded look. So everyone from your world can do what you do? She asked as he nodded. If you start your training at a young age. He started explaining. A young age. Naruto nodded before explaining further. Yeah, in my world we're shinobi or ninja and we train from about the age of 6 unless you're from a ninja family. Lois looked appalled at that. So your world had child soldiers. Naruto sighed before bringing his hands in front of him. In a way, but the kids do chores like taking care of gardens and walking dogs. There were also ninjas with special powers. Lois leaned forward resting her head on her arm. Really like what? Naruto leaned back in his chair and continued to explain. Well, if Superman was in my world not only will he have my powers but him and only his kids will have his. Naruto went on to explain more about his world and have his picture taken for the article. Well, I'm sure I'll see you when I help Superman out since he practically saves you all the time. Naruto said as they walked out of the building. Lois's eyebrow twitched. He doesn't save me all the time. Naruto smirked as he walked up to his red motorcycle, Lois seeing it jaw dropped. A Dodge Tomahawk. 2. Lois yelled seeing the motorcycle. Yeah, it's mine. I had it customized to fit 2 in case I help another hero who can't fly. He got on and put on his helmet, making sure Lois didn't see his face. He tossed her another one. I'll give you a ride home, don't worry I go the speed limit unless I'm stopping a criminal. Putting on the helmet, she got on back and held on to Naruto as he drove her to her apartment. Later. The sun was setting as Naruto drove to his home where he saw Kara in a black shirt and jeans sat on the swing set petting Hunter. He drove to the back of the house where he built a garage to keep the motorcycle in. He put his thumb on a small seal beside the throttle, channeled chakra to it and the bike changed into a silver color. Changing into a red shirt and leaving his cargo pants on walked up to Kara. Eventful day? She asked as he sat beside her and she rested her head on his shoulder. He wrapped an arm around her. Just gave Lois that interview I promised her. Hunter walked over and had laid down beside them as they swung a little. You know I talked at Tsunade, that seal you made to help those frogs talk in English is great. Naruto raised an eyebrow at her. Oh yeah, what about? About how you may need to marry more girls. 3. Naruto froze for a moment. Damn really? I was hoping I wouldn't, but I am from a clan with only a few people left. Naruto said as they watched the sunset. You know, I would like to see your home when you find a way to return. 4. Kara said as Naruto smirked. No you wouldn't, you complain about how Earth's technology is dated compared to yours. My world's best technology is practically the VHS. Kara looked up to him for a moment. Really? You can do whatever you want with the elements, but you only mastered 80s technology? She asked before she busted out laughing. It's not funny. Naruto whined as Kara stopped and gave him a quick kiss. I still want to see it. She said leaning against him, eventually falling asleep. Naruto smiled before picking her up bridal style and took her to a spare bedroom, took off her shoes and put her in the bed. He walked down and phoned Jonathan. Hey, Kara fell asleep so I put her in a spare bedroom. After talking to him for a moment, Naruto hung up the phone and went to bed. To be continued. Now. Clark's apartment midday. 1. Of course Clark would ask me to house sit on the dullest week of Metropolis. Kara, now wearing shorts and a blue shirt, said sitting on a couch flipping through the TV channels as Naruto walked in from the kitchen wearing black pants and red shirt. He walked over and sat down beside her. It's not that bad, you got me with you, and besides even us heroes need a rest every now and then. He said wrapping an arm around her. Smiling, she leaned against him. "I guess you're right," she replied before straddling him. "I can think of something to pass the time." Naruto smirked as he held her. "Really?" Nodding, she leaned down for a kiss. "Cage, Supergirl." Kara sighed as she heard Batman over their earpieces. "Yeah, we're here, what's wrong?" Naruto asked as Kara rested her head on his chest. "Livewire has escaped over in Gotham and Batgirl could use the help." Batman replied as Kara got up and quickly changed. After Naruto changed, he ran down the building and into an alley where he put his motorcycle. He and Kara, who flew above him, left to Gotham. Night Gotham. When Naruto and Kara found Batgirl, they saw her ejecting out of the Batmobile holding onto a glider and float a few feet away. Suddenly, in a bolt of electricity, a woman was in front of her. She has white skin with blue hair standing up. Currently wearing a black leotard with a white lightning bolt on the middle with blue gloves and black thigh-high boots. Kara flew over and grabbed Batgirl out of the way as Naruto went through some hand signs before putting his hands on the ground. Doten. Chikakmu, Earth release. Earth dome. A dome came up over the woman and Naruto ran over to the girls. "You two alright?" he asked before the dome exploded. The woman tried to fire electric at them only for it to die down in her hand. "Well, lunch time, see ya," she replied before disappearing in a bolt. "I'm guessing that's Livewire?" Naruto asked as the girls nodded. "Yep, welcome to Gotham." Batgirl replied before hearing sirens. Looking to the street, they saw several police cars coming up and parking. One cop, an overweight man with dark hair, came up to them and asked questions. "So she got away? I hate to say this, but where's the bat?" he asked as Naruto crossed his arms. "Out on another mission. Don't worry, he'll be back in a week," he replied before the cop glanced at the girls. "And I'm sure they could handle this," he said sarcastically before walking away. Kara stuck out her tongue at him as Naruto chuckled. "Don't worry about him, we'll just prove him wrong." Later, Supergirl was flying with Batgirl sitting on her back as Naruto followed under with his bike. "This is always awesome," Batgirl said as she held her arms out in front like she's flying. "I know that's the best part of this," Supergirl replied as she stared ahead of them. Seeing something, she pointed ahead. "What's that?" Batgirl looked ahead and saw electricity coming up in the air from a building. "Let's go." When they got to where the electricity is coming from, Naruto's sweat dropped. "A mole, really?" They snuck in and saw Livewire trying on clothes. "Too light," she said, putting on a red dress. She quickly changed into a blue dress. "Let me guess, just right." Turning around, Livewire saw Supergirl standing in front of her. "Back for more, huh?" She shot a bolt at Supergirl, who flew away. Livewire followed after her, eventually catching her in a corner and shocking her. Livewire started floating before something hits her and covers her in grey dust. "What the hell is this stuff?" Livewire asked as Batgirl and Naruto jumped down. "That dust is completely electric-proof," Batgirl explained, walking up. Livewire stood up and threw a punch, only for Batgirl to dodge and punch her. "That it?" Naruto asked, looking at the prone form of Livewire. "No, Cage." Turning around, they saw a big vine carrying two women. One has green skin, red hair and dressed in a dark green leotard, gloves that go up her arm, and shoes. The other's in a red and black Harlequin outfit with white face makeup and a black mask. "Ivy, Harley?" Batgirl asked, eyes widening. "Friends of yours?" Supergirl asked as Naruto and Batgirl shook their heads. "Oh, Cage, I'm hurt. I thought he had something special," Ivy said as she walked over and puts her hand on his face. Supergirl glared as Naruto deadpanned. "You know, your lust thing doesn't work on me, Ivy," he replied, making her pout. She walked back to Harley before attacking them. Ivy blew some spores onto Supergirl and vines suddenly started growing on her and Harley used a glove on a spring, hitting Batgirl into a payphone as Naruto was helping Supergirl get out. "Step back," Supergirl said before she started spinning, knocking the vines off of her. Ivy threw more spores at a dazed Batgirl, but Supergirl uses her heat vision to destroy them before dashing to Ivy. She grabs Ivy, who smirked. "So predictable, you just released the world's deadliest allergen in the world." Looking back, she saw Naruto pulling a coughing Batgirl out of the smoking payphone. Dashing over, Naruto handed Batgirl to her. "We need to get her out of here now." Nodding, Supergirl flew up and through the roof as Naruto disappeared in a flash. Barbara's apartment. Naruto pulled Barbara's mask off, took the mask from the oxygen tank and puts it over her mouth. A moment later, Barbara opens her eyes and saw Naruto standing over her. "Welcome back," he said as she sat up and held the mask. He looked around and saw a few computers and a table set up for lab work. "So how do you pay for this?" he asked as she explained she works for the police. "It also gives me access to police activities." After a few minutes, Barbara got up and puts her mask back on and the trio left. Naruto got on his bike as Batgirl with a red tank on her back got on the passenger seat. Wouldn't you like to fly? He asked as she smiled. When we're done, besides I wanted to ride this since you brought it. Putting on her helmet she wrapped her arms around Naruto who started the bike and sped down the road. Sure you didn't just want to hold a sexy man like me? He asked feeling her grip harder on him as he went faster. No. Naruto smirked while he turned down a street. Later, after talking with the penguin, they came up to an abandoned animal park with various animal-shaped hedges. See anything Supergirl? Naruto asked as Supergirl looked around with X-ray vision. She suddenly jolted back. They know we're here, she exclaimed before being hit with a bolt of electricity. Livewire took the tank from Batgirl and threw it at some trash bins. Take Supergirl and I'll take care of the others. She said over her shoulder to Ivy before walking over to Naruto and Batgirl. She started attacking them, forcing them to go take cover behind a rock. Can you distract her? He asked as Batgirl glanced behind Livewire. Yeah. She replied before running over to a trash can and picked up a lid. Livewire shot another bolt but nothing happened when it hit the lid. Hey. Livewire turned around just as Naruto fired an arrow at her that opened up into a net and wrapped around her. She tried shocking them but nothing happened. That's not going to work. I coated the net so you can't use your powers. He explained before seeing Ivy on top of an elephant hedge and tossed a tri-pronged kunai over. He flashed behind her and knocked her out with a chop to the neck. There, that was easy. He commented stepping down and helping Supergirl up. Later at Barbara's apartment, Kara and Barbara was sitting on the couch in robes with towels on their heads was watching the report with Bullock. So who caught Ivy, Harley and Livewire? The dark-haired female reporter asked him. Just a couple of rookies with Cage. Kara and Barbara looked on in shock. Rookies. They yelled as Naruto in black pajamas pants came in and sat down in between them. Well, maybe they have potential. Bullock finished as the girls high-fived. I'm going to get the popcorn. Barbara, can you come and get the drinks? Kara asked as Barbara got up and followed after. So how are you and Naruto doing? She asked as Kara puts a bag of popcorn in the microwave. Good, but something's come up in his world. Barbara looked at her. What? She asked as Kara sighed. Did you read that article about him? Barbara nodded and crossed her arms. Yeah. It sounds pretty much like feudal Japan the way he described how things are run there with the leaders. She replied as Kara explained. Well, he'll have to practice polygamy. Barbara blinked for a moment. Wait, what? She asked as Kara sighed. It's because he's from a clan. The law came up after the villages were founded so the clans wouldn't die out because they fought all the time before. So since Naruto's from a clan where there isn't very many, he'll have to take multiple women to bring it back. Barbara asked as Kara nodded and took the finished bag of popcorn out of the microwave. How do you feel about this? She asked again as Kara turned to her. I'm not a fan, but after talking to Naruto and the leader of his village, I've come to accept it. Besides, he hasn't picked up random women or anything. They walked back and sat back down on the couch. After a moment, Barbara looked to them. Guys. Kara and Naruto looked over to her. I want to throw my hat in the ring to join in on that harem of yours. Naruto looked surprised at that. What? He asked as Barbara explained. Look, I've been a little jealous of Kara ever since I met you and you're like the perfect guy, so I want in. Naruto was silent for a moment before speaking up. If you're sure about this, but please take some time to think it over before rushing into things. They continued watching the movie and talking through the night. Arkham Asylum, next night. Naruto, in his costume and holding a small plant, was walking beside a female officer with red hair in the woman's side of the asylum. You're sure your tattoo will keep her powers off? She asked as Naruto nodded. Yeah, they work on the other inmates. I just need to come here once a month and apply the ink on them. He replied as they passed the female inmates. Why don't you just make them permanent? Naruto looked over to her and explained. It may not look like it, but I'm not a master in certain parts of sealing. And your bodies are different from my universe, so I don't want to harm anyone. 2. He finished coming up to Ivy's cell with glass front. Why, hello, Cage, coming for a visit. Ivy walked up wearing only a shirt with the top buttons undone and panties. Yes, Ivy, I thought I should see you and Harley off before leaving. He replied before putting the plant in the small door for food. Ivy raised an eyebrow as she picked the small plant up. I could use this to escape. She said as Naruto smirked. Won't work. That tattoo keeps you from doing any of that. Looking to her left shoulder, she saw the small seal from under her shirt. I did hear you did this to the inmates with powers so they don't escape. Only problem is they are temporary and you need to come here to reapply them quite often. She explained, trying to make the plant grow, but couldn't. He had talked to her for a while before going to visit Harley. A few days later, Metropolis Lexcorp. Nighttime. The bald man in a black suit with a white undershirt and tie was holding a green rock over a downed Superman. You know, I've always dreamed of this day. He said, smirking down. And now it's here, I'm almost let down. He walked up and held the rock in front of Superman, who groaned. "Any last requests?" Superman looked up at him. "One thing, Lex, those weapons you sold to the terrorists." Lex interrupted him as he walked to the window. "Money talks, a bribe here and a bribe there. Like Paul in the shipping company or Snyder in customs." Lex stopped as he heard Superman's voice behind him. "Sounds like you'll have company in prison." Turning around, he saw Superman standing up with his arms crossed, unaffected. Eyes widening, Lex ran over and held the green rock up. "Impossible, the kryptonite." Lex stopped as Superman spoke up. "Won't work on me." Superman transformed into John as Lex backed up. "You're usually more careful, Lex." Turning around, Lex saw Batman and Green Lantern standing at the door. "And now you're going down." Green Lantern said, using his ring to bring the kryptonite over to Batman, who puts it in his belt. "Mission accomplished." Batman said into his microphone before running over to Lex. "End of the line, Lex." John said as Lex pulled out a remote and pushed a button. "For you, maybe." Suddenly a jet came up and fired at them, causing the ceiling to come down on them. Lex jumped in and flew off with Superman following a few moments later. Watchtower a few days later. "So is Superman still down?" Naruto with his hood off asked, watching a monitor beside Kara. "A little. I can't believe Lex blames him for kryptonite poisoning." She replied, going through some reports on her monitor. "Yeah, some people don't want to place the blame where it belongs." Naruto replied with a sigh. "At first a friend of mine wanted to destroy my entire village because of something 3 people did." He finished remembering Sasuke before a small beep went off. Lex and Humanite just escaped prison with Batman going after. After a few moments they heard Batman over their earpieces. "I'm going to need backup. They blew up a building." Naruto put his hand up and replied. "Okay, I'll tell the others." He typed on the keyboard, trying to pull up the traffic cameras after telling the others. "We saved the people in the building, but Lex and Ultra Humanite escaped." Naruto heard Shiera's voice come over his earpiece after a few minutes. "They'll show up again." He replied before standing up and walking to the hangar. "Let's go down and see if we can help them find Lex and Humanite," he said over his shoulder, pulling his hood up. Metropolis Picture Store night. A woman with a cheetah-like appearance jumped in front of the store and went inside. As she was looking around, a person was climbing down the rafters and bending around them. The person landed, causing the woman to turn around and hiss. "Who are you?" she asked as the person came out of the shadows. Showing a woman around 5'10" with short blonde hair, yellow slitted eyes, green pants and shirt that showed off her cleavage, with metal gloves and being barefooted. "I'm Copperhead," she replied, sticking her forked tongue out. "Arkham Origins Copperhead. 3. I'm here for a job." She finished as the other woman raised an eyebrow. "Same here, am I working for you?" Copperhead shook her head. "No, but I guess we're working together in this." She replied as a tall, very muscular man with gray hair and pale skin, wearing old clothes, walked up and grabbed the first woman. "Nice kitty." The woman hissed and scratched the man. "No touching." The man gained an angry look. "No one hurts Grundy." He charged at the woman, who jumped back and knocked Copperhead down. The 3 continued fighting until a man in an all-black costume, top hat and round sunglasses brought a cane up at them. Suddenly, everything went dark. "Who turned out the light?" Grundy asked, looking around. "Me." Turning to their left, they saw the shadows go into the man's cane. "And who are you?" the first woman asked as the man walked over. "I'm Shade." Shade introduced himself before pointing his cane at them. "And my nightstick is more than enough to handle the likes of you armatures." A pink beam surrounded his cane and brought it up to a black-haired woman in a black costume with pink gloves, thigh-high boots and mask with a gem on it. "Spare us, without this you're nothing, little man," she said, floating down beside them. "Common criminals, is this what I'm reduced to?" she asked before hearing a voice behind her. "Criminals, yes, but common, certainly not." Turning around, they saw Lex in a purple shirt, a black holster with a gun on his left side, green gloves, pants and black boots, with a gorilla with a larger head with visible veins on it, wearing spike suspenders, coming down an elevator. "Lex Luthor." "Well, the plot thickens," Shade said as he and the others walked up as Lex and the gorilla came down. Lex stepped out and walked up to them. "Cheetah, Copperhead, Sapphire, Shade, Grundy, Glade, you could all make it," Lex said before gesturing to the gorilla. "And you all know the Ultra Humanite?" Humanite nodded before speaking. "Charmed, I'm sure." Copperhead spoke up, crossing her arms. "Cut the crap, Luthor, what do you want?" she asked as Lex explained. "You all are the best at what you do and I need your services." Cheetah raised an eyebrow. "My talents don't come cheap." Lex nodded and continued. "And you will be paid handsomely." Shade spoke up from his spot. "And what's this job?" Lex turned to him and smirked. "To take down Superman and the Justice League." Watchtower. Batman was watching a monitor as Flash, Hawkgirl and Naruto stood just behind him talking. Yeah, I put out the flames before the firefighters even stepped off the trucks. Flash finished with a smirk as Hawkgirl deadpanned. Wow, that's fast. She said, causing Flash's smirk to widen. Fastest man on the earth. He said as Hawkgirl turned to him. Maybe that's why you can't get a date. She replied, causing Naruto to snicker. What? He asked her as she smirked. Not the fastest in catching a burn. Naruto said as Batman turned the volume up on the news. And Ultra Humanite is refusing to talk to negotiators. Snapper car reported outside the building showing Humanite's photo. Still think he's no trouble? Batman asked as they left to the hangar. Later, the police was talking to Humanite as he held an unconscious red-haired woman. We'll give you one of our men for the woman. A police officer said as Humanite scoffed. You take me for a fool? He asked, holding a gun up. Suddenly a green beam wrapped around the gun. It's over, Humanite. Looking up, he saw a Green Lantern holding him right before Superman slammed into him. Batman jumped down as Naruto ran inside. Go look for more hostages. Batman said to Green Lantern, who nodded and flew in with Flash speeding in. Green Lantern flew in and up to the second floor, catching a glimpse of Superman fight Humanite. Naruto was looking around on the first floor and stopped as he heard a female giggle. Turning back, he didn't see anything and continued looking around before dodging a clawed hand that was about to hit his face. Jumping back, he saw Copperhead walk out of the shadows. Who are you? Naruto asked as Copperhead smiled. The name's Copperhead. Naruto blinked for a moment before replying. I thought Copperhead was a guy. Copperhead laughed before walking up. Disappointed? She asked as Naruto deadpanned. No, not really, I actually prefer you over a guy. He replied before attacking with a punch, only to have Copperhead bend back on her hands. She brought her legs up and kicked Naruto back before jumping in the shadows. Naruto turned on his detective vision and looked for Copperhead, only for her to grab him from behind in a chokehold. Naruto elbowed her to get out and turned and grabbed her from behind. Copperhead twisted getting out of the hold before scratching Naruto on the neck. After a moment, Naruto saw multiple Copperheads and attacked him. My poison's already in your system and you'll die soon. One of the Copperheads explained as Naruto reached into his coat and threw down a smoke bomb. But that should give me some time to get the poison out of my system. Naruto thought, panting before Copperhead suddenly jumped upstairs to Batman and Lex. Damn it. He cursed before jumping up himself and saw Copperhead scratch Batman. Naruto ran up, grabbed Copperhead and slammed her into the wall, knocking her out. Suddenly, everything went black. After a moment it cleared and showed the villains gone. They got away. Naruto commented as Flash sped up. We got one of them. He said, pointing down at Copperhead. Superman turned Batman over and saw he was sweating. But they got one of us. Watchtower. John, Naruto, and Superman was in the med bay as Batman was waking up. The anti-venom is working. John commented as Superman nodded. Welcome back. Batman looked over to them. Luthor and the others, what happened? He asked as Superman explained. They got away, we almost got Copperhead, but she was able to get out of our cuffs when we weren't looking as we waited for the police. Batman stared at him for a moment. Then let's go. He said as he sat up, only to be pushed back down by Superman. You're not going anywhere. Batman just stared back at him before Superman walked out. After a moment Batman got up and left the med bay. I saw that coming. Naruto said as he and John followed after him. When they caught up to him, they saw he was watching a monitor. You should be resting. John said as Batman ignored him. I know it must be hard for you to feel vulnerable. John said as Batman continued to type. You're the only one of us that doesn't have powers. You don't need to prove yourself, you're Val. Batman interrupted him as he stood up. I'm going, are you going to stop me? He asked as they moved to the side. Nope. Naruto said as Batman walked past. But I'll be going with you, it'll be safer if we go together. He said, following after Batman. Lex and the others. The best of the best, what the hell was I thinking? Lex asked, pacing around the others. We did our best. Cheetah said as Lex scoffed. Did you? Did you fight like your lives depended on it? Shade looked over to him and replied. You get what you paid for. Lex glared at him for a moment. You want to be rewarded for failing? I should take the lot of you and… He stopped as Grundy grabbed his neck and lifted him off the ground. Go ahead. You'll save me months of bedpans and feeding tubes. Lex grunted out before addressing the others. And make sure you all won't see a penny of my money. He finished before Grundy puts him down. You're crazy. He said before the doors were kicked open. And what's wrong with that? A person asked, walking into the light. Showing a man with dark green slicked back hair, dark purple suit, bow tie, and gloves with a green undershirt. Appearing to be wearing white makeup with red lips, black around his eyes, and smiling. It's done wonders for me. He finished walking up to the others. Get the hell out of here, Joker. Lex said as Joker sped over and grabbed him. Oh Lexi, I'm hurt. How could you throw a party and not invite me? Joker said in mock hurt, putting on a party hat and grinding out an air horn. It's not a party. Lex said through gritted teeth. Grundy, get rid of him. Grundy walked over, only for Joker to take the horn and blow purple gas out, knocking Grundy out. Joker threw the horn away and took off the hat. Come on Lex, you need me. He said, wrapping an arm around Lex. Like I need a root canal. Joker removed his arm and sat down on a box in front of them. Oh come on, I know something you don't. He said in a playful tone while flipping something in the air, catching it, and showed a chip in the shape of a bat with a blinking light. I know how the bat thinks. He finished as the others' eyes widened at the chip. Later that night, Batman and Naruto came down through the window and followed the tracker. As they came up to a balcony, they saw everyone except for Copperhead down below playing poker. As they're waiting for the right moment to strike, two people came up behind them. One holding a bag, the other a pipe. They both hit Batman and Naruto on the head, knocking them down onto the table and breaking it. Hearing something clatter, the others looked up and saw Copperhead dropping a pipe and Joker emptying the bag full of rocks, laughing. Later Naruto slowly woke up to see himself and Batman under a force field and inside a metal restraints with his hands at his sides. Guess they know I need to use both of my hands for my jutsus. Naruto thought before he saw Lex and the others with Joker walking up to Batman. Joker started slapping him. Wakey, wakey Batman. Opening his eyes, Batman glared at Joker. Joker. I should have known you would be involved in this. He said as Joker blinked. Really? I must be falling into a rut. He walked up to Luthor and talked for a bit. After Joker left, Lex walked up to the heroes. Where do you keep your passkey? Yes. Batman replied with a smirk. Lex looked over to Naruto, who just stared at him. Don't look at me, I keep mine in a pocket dimension. Lex growled before leaving. Grundy, Humanite, watch them. Lex ordered as he, Copperhead holding Naruto's bow, quiver, and a scroll, Sapphire who took Batman's belt, and the others left in an elevator. Upstairs with Lex and the others, they put Batman's belt on a table as Copperhead was messing with Naruto's bow. It has a strong draw. She commented as she had some difficulty pulling the string back. She reached over, picked up an arrow with a cylinder end, and shot at one of the boxes. A little electricity came over the box as it hit before dying down. Hearing a small explosion, she looked over and saw smoke coming off Batman's belt. Whoa, easy there Lex, just because you won't live to see old age doesn't mean we don't. Sapphire said before they heard fighting down below. I should have known. Lex said with a frown before walking over to the elevator. When they got to the basement, they saw Grundy and Humanite fighting. Stop it, both of you. Lex yelled as Grundy and Humanite stopped and stood up. You both are going to kill me faster than the kryptonite. Grundy and Humanite walked to the elevator as Lex walked up to the two heroes. You did this, didn't you? The two just stayed quiet. Cheetah watched them. Cheetah walked up as Lex left with the others. And if they can't shut up, gag them. He finished before Naruto spoke up. I'm not into that, you know. Cheetah stared at them as the others left. As Lex got off the elevator, he grabbed his chest in pain, having Humanite grab him. Maybe we should get our money now. Shade whispered to the others. Lex recovered and walked up to them. I'm fine, now leave, I've got work to do. The others left as Humanite brought a chair up. They're right, you should take it easy. He said as Lex grunted in pain. Is there anything you can do? Lex asked as Humanite thought for a moment. Maybe, but it would cost extra. He finished as Lex sighed. Basement. You know, Batman, Naruto said after talking to Cheetah about a research and experiment on herself. This is like that time when Catwoman was turned into a cat person. 4. Cheetah looked up quickly as Naruto continued to talk. I'm sure it was different than this, but don't you still have your notes to help? Cheetah walked up to them. You can turn me back. I won't be a freak. Naruto looked over to her. You are not a freak. You're a beautiful woman willing to do anything to help find a cure for one of mankind's worst illnesses. She looked to him and crossed her arms. You seem to know a lot about me. She said as Naruto smirked. Well, I was curious. Cheetah walked up to him and puts a hand on his cheek. You know what they saw about curiosity. She said, trailing his jawline. Would you do me a favor before I die? He asked as she nodded. I would like a kiss. Smiling, Cheetah wrapped her arms around Naruto, leaned up, and kissed him. After a moment Naruto leaned back. Thank you was cut off as Cheetah kissed him again with a little more force. After a minute, she pulled back, pulling his bottom lip with her. She stepped back hearing a ding, and Humanite walked out of the elevator. She walked back to the elevator leaving Humanite to watch them. After a while, Joker came in pushing a TV in live and in color for the end of the Justice League. He said as Batman and Naruto just stared. Don't make me laugh, Joker. Batman said as Naruto snorted. Yeah, better men than you have tried. Joker ignored him and pulled out a remote. It's no joke. He turned on the TV and it showed the watchtower. There's a surprise hidden in your little clubhouse. And when your friends find it, boom. Naruto's and Batman's eyes widened as Joker picked up some popcorn and held it up in front of them. "Popcorn?" he asked as they stayed quiet. "No. More for me," he said, turning back to the TV as Humanite stood up and left. "You sicken me, Joker." "Oh, he's going to miss the show and the sequel." Batman looked him. "What sequel?" Joker turned back to him. "Once the bomb gets your friends." "I get you," he replied, laughing. "But Superman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Hawkgirl, and Flash. Any word from John?" Wonder Woman asked as Superman shook his head. "Not since he raised the alarm," he replied before Hawkgirl spoke up. "I have a bad feeling about this." Green Lantern walked up to the jet. "Then let's go." They got in the jet and flew up to the watchtower. Flash walked out and saw John unconscious on the floor. "John?" He dashed over as the others flew up. Superman picked him up. "I'll take him to the med bay, you find Batman and Cage." Everyone went to find them as Superman flew to the med bay. Later Superman, Wonder Woman and Flash were watching John as Green Lantern and Hawkgirl flew in. "They're not here," Hawkgirl said as Green Lantern walked over. "And the shuttle's gone." Suddenly they heard ringing. "Maybe that's them," Wonder Woman said, picking up the headset on the wall. "Hello, I beg your pardon. Where?" "Hello. Hello." Superman spoke up as Wonder Woman puts the headset down. "What they say?" he asked as Wonder Woman turned to him. "That wasn't them. It was someone saying there's a bomb up here," she replied as everyone's eyes widened. "Could it be a joke?" Flash asked as Superman shook his head. "No, that's a secure line." Green Lantern floated up. "Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go." They searched the tower until Green Lantern found the bomb in a yellow suitcase. He yelled as Flash dashed over and grabbed it. "Got it." Running over to the door, Superman opened it as Flash threw the case out the door, having it exploded away from the tower. They went back to the med bay where John explained what happened. "It was Grundy, Shade, and Star Sapphire. When I got to the hangar, everything went black." The others looked up. "How could they have gotten inside?" Wonder Woman asked as Green Lantern spoke up. "Only one way with Cage's or Batman's transmitter." "But Naruto and Batman." "Oh, they ruined the punch line," Joker said, seeing the tower still floating. He pushed the TV over, breaking it. "But there's still the encore." Joker pulled out a blade and walked up to Batman. "I wouldn't do that if I were you," Naruto said as Joker puts the blade up to Batman's mask and leaned in. "Only for Batman to headbutt Joker." "Told you," Naruto said with a chuckle as Joker got up only to be grabbed by Grundy. "Luthor said you should not be alone with Batman," Grundy said as Joker looked up at him. "Oh, come on, Grundy, old pal. What are some scrapes between friends?" Grundy just stared at him. "Leave." Joker walked over to the elevator. "Party pooper." Grundy walked up to Naruto and Batman. "Thanks, if you hadn't come along could I have some water?" Batman asked as Grundy nodded and walked over, got some water and gave Batman a sip. Batman looked up and spits the water on the generator, destroying it. "Thanks," Batman said with a smirk as Naruto shimmered for a second. Up with the others, Humanite was messing with a couple of machines as Lex laid on the table. Humanite pushed a button and the table glowed green before lifting him up a few inches. A green metal breastplate was lowered down onto him and the back was pushed up onto him. Humanite pulled a lever and Lex was shocked. Lex screamed for a minute until Humanite hit the off button. "Did it work?" Cheetah asked as a green light came on the breastplate. "This should stabilize his condition." "We'll have to wait a few minutes to find out," Humanite explained as Grundy ran in. Mr. Luthor, Batman broke that static thingy." Humanite sighed before taking off his lab coat. "They probably already alerted the Martian, they'll be here any minute." "Don't worry, I have a plan." Looking over, they saw Lex standing up. "But we'll need to weed out the traitor." Copperhead raised an eyebrow. "Traitor?" she asked as Lex nodded. "Yes, how else would the heroes know about the bomb?" he explained as Copperhead deadpanned. "The Martian could have told them we were up there and found the bomb." Lex, ignoring her, turned on the TV showing Batman and Naruto still tied up and brought in earlier footage of Cheetah kissing Naruto. They looked to her as she waved her arms. "No, I didn't, it's not me." She backed up into Grundy. "Grundy, take care of her." Lex ordered as Grundy tried grabbing her, only for Cheetah to kick him, jump over him, and ran to the elevator. When it opened, Joker walked out and shocked her. "Hello, kitty." She fell down as he walked past. Grundy walked over, picked her up and dragged her out. As he walked out the elevator, he felt dizzy for a second but shook his head and continued walking outside. Naruto with Cheetah walked out of the shadows and stared at the bag Grundy was holding. "What happened?" Cheetah asked Naruto, who turned to her. "I used an illusion so he thinks that bag is you," he explained before walking back into the shadows as Grundy walked back. "Why did you?" Naruto interrupted her. "Save you?" You're not like the others, you're only doing these things because you want to continue your research and find a way to return to normal. He explained, taking her outside and to the alleyway. Stay here until we take care of your friends. He finished walking back inside. Hearing something, Cheetah looked over and saw the rest of the Justice League land and looks at the building. Up on the building, after coming up with a plan, John phased through the roof and the others waited. After a few minutes of waiting, Hawkgirl raised her mace. I'm not waiting anymore. She and the others flew in and saw Shade, Grundy, Star Sapphire, Copperhead, and Joker. Superman slammed into Grundy as Wonder Woman wrapped Joker with her lasso and hit Shade, grabbed his cane, and hit him over the head. Joker threw her a doll. Catch. As she caught the doll, it exploded, sending her back and having Joker get out of the lasso and see Flash running to him. He threw marbles down and as Flash ran over them exploded, sending him into a statue. Copperhead was fighting Hawkgirl with Naruto's bow until a cloth was put over her mouth. Looking back, she saw Naruto holding the cloth. She fell down as Naruto pulls his hand away, pulled out a brush and put a seal on the back of her neck. That'll keep her unconscious until we get her in a cell. He explained, seeing Hawkgirl's look. Hearing something break, Naruto saw Grundy throw a duck statue at Superman, who dodged and let Star Sapphire get hit as she was fighting Green Lantern. Superman punched him through a wall. Where's Luthor? He asked before being hit with a green energy. I'm right here. Lex said, wearing a green armor suit with purple gloves and boots. He attacked Superman again. Humanite came up and shocked Luthor with a shock baton. Freeze. Turning around, Humanite saw the Justice League standing behind him and put up his hands. I surrender. He said as they walked over, not noticing Joker walking away with a gun. Going down to the basement, he saw Batman was gone. Turning around, he saw Batman and backed up. He tried shooting him, but Batman knocked the gun away and punched him. How Batman interrupted him. Did I get out? I could easily escaped, but I wanted to stay and keep an eye on you clowns. Batman punched him again, knocking him out. Later, after talking to the police, Naruto walked back to Cheetah holding a bracelet. I was able to pull some strings to at least put you under house arrest. He explained, taking her to the shuttle and leaving. Naruto's house, morning. Naruto, wearing blue jeans and blue shirt with a whirlpool on it, holding a watch, walked inside and saw Kara glaring at him with her arms crossed. What wrong? He asked as she uncrossed her arms, showing she's holding a remote. Aiming at his TV, she pressed a button. Would you do me a favor before I die? Turning quickly, he saw a tape playing back when he was talking to Cheetah. I would like a kiss. It showed their kiss as Naruto gulped. Did Bruce just play a prank on me? He thought as he started to sweat. She seemed to glare harder as he stayed quiet. What's that noise? Looking up towards the stairs, they saw Cheetah walk down. Noticing the tape, she smirked. Oh Naruto, come back to bed, we didn't sleep at all last night. She said with a purr. Naruto switched places with a chair as Kara tried to hit him with her heat blast. Later, after calming Kara down, Naruto gave Cheetah the watch he was holding. Putting it on, she looked to him. What's this for? She asked as Naruto lifted her arm up and pressed the side button. Look at the mirror. He said, having her walked up to the hall mirror and gasped. Her reflection was without her fur, tan skin, and long red hair. Wearing black jeans and a red shirt. It puts up an illusion on you, so this is what you will see when you hit that button. 5. He explained as she starts tearing up. That should do until we can work out a perm. He was soon interrupted by Cheetah kissing him. Kara growled a little before Cheetah pulled back. Thank you. Cheetah said, crying into his shoulder. You alright, Kara? Naruto asked, seeing her grit her teeth. Yes, it's just going to take time to get used to seeing you with other women. She replied with a sigh before Naruto walked up and hugged her. I'll always make time for you. He said, giving her a kiss, making her smile a little. To be continued. Now. Naruto Daily Planet, morning. Naruto, now wearing black pants, white black tennis shoes and a leather jacket, was walking inside the Daily Planet and into an elevator. When he reached the top floor, he saw only a few reporters, including Lois, who was throwing balls of paper into a trash can. He walked over to her and caught the last ball she just threw. Hello, can you point me to Perry White's office? He asked as Lois looked to him and nodded. Yes, down to the back of the room. Nodding, Naruto walked to the back of the room, throwing the ball over his shoulder and into the can. I wonder what Naruto's doing here. Lois, looking to her left, saw Clark Kent walking up. He's wearing a light blue suit with a red tie, white undershirt and glasses. You know him? She asked as he nodded. Yes, he's my parents' neighbor and Kara's boyfriend. So that's Naruto, huh? The person Kara's told me about. A few moments later, Naruto walked out of Perry's office and up to them. Hello Naruto, what are you doing here? Clark asked as Naruto stopped. I'm going to be a freelance photographer for the planet. 1. He exclaimed, reaching into his jacket and taking out pictures of him fighting his cage. Did you take these? Lois asked, taking the pictures from him. This was just announced by the police this morning. Nodding, Naruto continued. Yeah, I travel around the surrounding cities and towns and sometimes see heroes fighting, so I thought this would be a good part-time job. He finished before walking to the elevator. See you later. He said, waving at them before going into the elevator. Beach City, a few days later. As feared, Tropical Storm Gardner has been upgraded to Hurricane Gardner. Snapper Carr said to the camera in front of him as waves crashed on the pier he was standing on. Residents are warned to take immediate shelter and only emergency vehicles are allowed on the streets. On the other side of the city, a fire truck with 2 firemen was driving down a bridge. Suddenly, a stop sign came through the windshield and caused a truck to swerve into the guardrail and dangle off the edge. Out the back. The driver yelled as the seconds started climbing. The truck fell down and the man screamed with one going out the windshield until a red blur went in front and caught the truck. Got you. Superman said, catching the fireman who fell out. Supergirl went under the truck as Wonder Woman threw her lasso down and Naruto helped hold on. Letting the truck go when it was near the ground, Superman looked to the fireman. You alright? The driver walked out and replied. A little shaken up, but we're fine. Wonder Woman pulled her lasso back up and smiled. Mommy. Naruto and Wonder Woman turned their heads and saw a blonde-haired girl in a tree that was being pulled out of the ground. Wonder Woman flew over and grabbed her as the tree flew away. I've got you, little sister. The little girl looked at her confused. I'm not your sister. Wonder Woman floated down in front of the blonde-haired mother who hugged her daughter and scolded her. Wonder Woman looked at them for a moment, not noticing a pole falling towards her. Diana. Naruto flashed beside her and pulled her away. Looking to her, he spoke up. You alright? You're usually more careful. Wonder Woman looked to where the mother and daughter were. I'm sorry, it's just, Naruto interrupted her, seeing where she was looking. Feeling homesick? Nodding, she continued. My mother used to call me her little sun and stars. I left them Asira against her will. Naruto nodded before replying. So why don't you go back and talk to her? Wonder Woman shook her head. And say what? She asked with a sigh. How about the truth, for starters? She'll probably be happy that you're helping the world. Thinking for a moment, Wonder Woman spoke up. You're right, I should go and talk to her. Turning around and walking away, Naruto spoke up. Take your time and don't hurry back. Supergirl flew over as Wonder Woman flew up to the sky. Will she be fine? Naruto nodded, smiling at her. Yeah, she will be. Turning around, they went to help out other people in the storm. Later that night. Naruto, who was patrolling on a building near a museum, suddenly heard the sounds of fighting and saw Superman flying over him. Naruto started jumping across the rooftops and into the museum where Superman was talking to Wonder Woman among the rubble inside. I've already alerted the others, so you should explain. Later, Wonder Woman explained about a man named Felix Faust turning her people into stone and needing artifacts before freeing them. John, Flash, Naruto and Superman glanced at each other. Well, there's only one thing left to do, we'll help you. John said as the others smiled and broke up into groups. Later, Naruto, Superman and Wonder Woman had soon come up to a mall. Really? You're sure that the gem is pointing us right here? Naruto asked, seeing the red gem glow. Yes, it glows brighter when pointed to the mall. She replied, walking in. Once inside, they looked around the empty stores and displays. Coming up to a ladies' clothes store, Wonder Woman looked up at the window. How can women wear that? She asked, seeing the revealing clothes on the mannequins. I don't know. Superman replied before using his X-ray and finding an old vase under the concrete. There. He said before he jumped and started spinning through the concrete floor. A moment later, he came up with the vase in his hands. Someone went to a lot of trouble of protecting these. When she brought up the gem, Naruto noticed the vase shaking. Diana Wadey shielded his eyes when the vase exploded. He staggered back and opened his eyes. Guys, you alright? He asked but didn't get an answer. What have you done to Superman and Cage? Wonder Woman yelled out before attacking Superman, who attacked back. Guys, what the hell are you doing? He yelled, jumping in between them. Only to get hit by Wonder Woman into a store. Holy crap, that hurt. Naruto grunted out before Wonder Woman flew in, grabbed him by the neck and started choking him. Where are Superman and Cage? Naruto struggled before thinking. It must be an illusion, it has to be. I wonder if the release for a Jinjutsu will work. Putting his hands in a seal, he released a bit of chakra. Wonder Woman, who's holding a yellow monster, saw him put his hands in a familiar seal. Wait, that's what Cage does to use his techniques. She thought before seeing fire cover him. Letting go, she jumped back, turned around and picked up a mirror but stopped, seeing Naruto's reflection behind her. Once turning back, she saw Naruto on his knees holding his throat and gasping for breath. Cage. She exclaimed, dashing over and helping him up. I didn't hurt you much, did I? Naruto coughed a little before replying. Well, I now know that I should never want to get on your bad side. So, did that release technique work? She shook her head as she helped him up. No, it just looked like fire covered you, I saw your reflection in the mirror. She explained as Naruto looked over and saw the full body mirror on the floor. Okay then, I'm sure Superman will be here soon, so I'll set this up and you can look at his reflection while he looks at ours. Setting up the mirror plus a second they found against the back wall, they saw Superman fly in. Just look at the mirror to see him. Naruto said as Wonder Woman turned and looked at the mirror. Where are Diana and Cage? Superman asked the two monsters as the yellow one pointed to the mirror. Looking at the mirror, Superman saw both Naruto's and Wonder Woman's reflection. What happened? He asked as Naruto explained. It was an illusion, so we would end up fighting each other or run away if you were by yourself. He finished as Wonder Woman put a hand on her left ear. Diana, I dug up something on your friend Faust. Batman's voice came over her earpiece. What? She asked, walking with Naruto and Superman. You should see for yourself. Later at Felix Faust's apartment. Naruto, Wonder Woman, John, Flash, Superman and Batman were looking around Faust's living room, seeing all the books and artifacts littering the apartment. Fascinating, Faust has a passion for learning. John commented looking at an open book on a table. Flash picked up a small gold staff with a crystal and round ball at the top of it. Where did he get this stuff? Warlocks are us. Flash asked before the crystal lights up. Don't touch that. Batman yelled before ducking lighting that came out of the staff. Put the staff down, Flash. Naruto said as Batman walked over and took the staff from him. Don't touch anything. We don't know what we're dealing with. Both John and Superman had soon put the artifacts in their hands back down. Whom are we dealing with then? Superman asked, glancing at the charred spot on the wall from the lightning. Batman threw a picture of a black-haired man in a gray suit with a red tie and white undershirt standing in front of hieroglyphics and explained that Felix Faust was an archaeologist before becoming interested in magic and getting kicked out of the university he worked for. He was mocked by colleagues and later on, several disappeared. He finished as Naruto spoke up. I think I know what happened to them. He points up to three faces on the wall. Sick. Flash said, reeling back a little before Batman continued. That's not all. I found his journal and his last entry makes reference to Tartarus. He finished as lighting flashed outside and it started raining. Wonder Woman's eyes widened for a moment. You alright, Diana? Naruto asked as Wonder Woman turned around and explained how her mother, Hippolyta, was in a relationship with the god Hades and was tricked by him to help invade the god's home. And as punishment, she was to guard the gate to Tartarus where Hades was sentenced to reign over the dead. To make sure the gate wouldn't be unlocked, its key was split and scattered over the world. She finished as Naruto took a look at the stone circular key Superman picked up. So we've found the key? John asked as Flash quickly took the key. Why would Faust need the key? Batman walked up and took the key, brought it to a table and puts the handles on. Only one reason to use it. Holding it up, the others looked to Wonder Woman. Diana, you can't give it to him. Wonder Woman shook her head. If I don't, my mother and sisters will remain statues. Naruto sighed before speaking up. And if you do, the entire world will be destroyed, including your mother and sisters. Wonder Woman looked down for a moment. What are you going to do? Superman asked as Wonder Woman stayed silent for a moment. Later at Themyscira. Wonder Woman, holding something covered in a sheet, flew in the building where Faust was at and saw him, in a blue gold-trimmed robe, talking to a statue of a woman laying on the ground. Faust. She flew down as Faust stood up and made an Hercules appear. Back already? He asked, snapping his finger and making the Hercules disappear. Do you have the artifacts? Removing the sheet, she held up the key. First, release my mother. Nodding, Faust turned to the statue and materialized a medallion with Medusa's head on it. Saying a spell, the eyes on the medallion glowed before the statue revealed a blonde-haired woman in white robes and a golden crown. Walking over, Wonder Woman handed Faust the key before walking over to her mother. Finally, after 3,000 years, the key is complete. Faust exclaimed before getting the medallion out and holding it at Wonder Woman. Which means you're useful. He stopped as a red blur passed him and took the medallion out of his hands. You're not the only one with an ace up their sleeves. Flash taunted, tossing the medallion up in the air. Hearing something, Faust turned around and saw Batman swinging down and kicked him. You really think she would trust scum like you? Batman asked before Superman and John flew down. It's over, Faust. Faust attacked with several pink balls of energy, forcing the heroes to jump out of the way. He tried to attack Flash, but he dashed around. Damn it. Faust cursed before bringing rock around him, making Flash trip and fall. He tried attacking Flash but was punched by John. Faust formed a bigger ball and threw it at John only for it to phase through him. He threw another one at their feet, sending Batman flying near a support. It started falling down, but Superman caught it. Faust, seeing his chance, ran for the door but was caught by Batman, who shot his grappling gun at him, and Wonder Woman, who threw her lasso. Faust turned around and shot electricity through the wire and rope, shocking the duo. Getting out of the ropes, Faust picked up the key and ran to the door, only to be blocked by John. Halt. Faust turned around, only to see Superman and Flash standing behind him. Speaking another spell, he threw seeds in front of them and giant vines grew and grabbed them. Wonder Woman and Batman ran over to help. And as Wonder Woman used a sword on the vines, Batman was caught. AAHHH. Wonder Woman turned around and saw Faust holding her mother. She ran but was caught by small vines wrapping around her arms. Faust and Hippolyta disappeared in a small dust tornado and the vines died down, letting the heroes go. They all walked over and saw a small smoking scorch mark. Any idea where they would have gone? Flash asked with Wonder Woman nodding. Yes, follow me. Following after Wonder Woman, she picked up a torch and walked behind the throne. She pushed a stone and a door opened up, showing a flight of stairs, and walked down. When they got to the bottom, they saw the remains of an old city with Hippolyta tied up to a broken support and Faust taking the key to the front of a big locked door. Getting into hiding places, they saw Faust use the key to open the door and a tall man in black, silver, red trimmed armor with a horned helmet. They saw him remove his helmet, showing his face with long black hair and a mustache goatee combo. He tried to kiss Hippolyta but was interrupted by Faust. My lord, I upheld my end of the bargain, now I want what was promised to me. Hades then puts a glowing finger to Faust's head and he rapidly became old and fell to his knees. My god. Superman exclaimed as Batman picked up a tri-pronged kunai. Not yet. Superman said before Wonder Woman ran up holding a sword and cuts her mother free. Hippolyta, you didn't tell me you had a daughter. Hades said before shooting fire out of his mouth at them. Now. Superman yelled, flying at Hades and slammed into him. Hades swatted him away before catching a batarang and it exploded in his face. About time you threw it. Clearing the smoke from his eyes, Hades saw Naruto without his coat, bow, and arrows in a black t-shirt, pants, and combat boots. Another insect? Hades asked as Naruto snorted. Well, this insect is going to beat your sorry ass. Naruto replied before closing his eyes. Suddenly his appearance changed. His body is soon covered in a yellow shroud of chakra, upon which a seal is clearly visible on his stomach. And a necklace of Magatama formed around his neck. Finally his hair spiked up, with the two endmost locks resembling horns. 2. Hades looked at Naruto for a moment before speaking up. Well, if it isn't the child of prophecy. Naruto raised an eyebrow in surprise. So, you know about that, huh? He asked as Hades smirked. Well, of course, the gods know about the other worlds and keep up on the information about each and every one of them. 3. Suddenly, an army of armored zombies came out of the ground and surrounded them all. I suggest focusing on the god kit. Beat him to a pulp and the undead will disappear. Naruto heard a voice in his head and nodded. Naruto made a cross seal with his hands. Taj Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, multiple shadow clone technique. A bunch of clones surrounded the zombies and Naruto smirked. Well then, let's get wild. His clones focused on the undead as Naruto ran to Hades in a dash. As he was fighting, Hippolyta watched him wide-eyed. The child of prophecy. The one Hera told me about. She thought watching Hades blow fire at Naruto, who jumped back and with two small clawed hands forming around his finger, created a small ball with blades. Mini Rasen Shuriken, mini spiraling shuriken. Throwing the small ball at Hades, he hits his left leg, cuts through his armor, and cuts his leg, but he healed immediately after. Did you forget I'm a Hades stopped as a big purple ball hits him and he screamed out in pain. His appearance changed into more demon-like with red eyes and several tongues coming out of his mouth. Well, didn't see that one coming. Naruto stated, running over and tried to kick him but was grabbed and thrown over Hades' shoulder. Superman flew over and punched Hades while he was distracted. Stumbling back, he was then kicked away by Naruto. Getting up, Hades saw a sword by him and noticed Wonder Woman fighting off a group of zombies. Picking up the sword, he dashed towards her and swung the sword. Diana. Hippolyta yelled, seeing Hades attack her daughter. Naruto flashed beside her and pushed her out of the way as Hades hits him into a wall, cracking it. Diana, destroy the key. It's the only way. Hippolyta said to Diana, who flew over to the key, grabbed it and started pulling. AAHH. She screamed out when she was shocked from the key. No. Hades yelled, running over, but Wonder Woman pulled the key out, slammed it down on the ground, and broke it. Suddenly the door started sucking everything into it. Hades tried to hold on the ground as the heroes flew, ran, or held on to something to keep from being sucked in. Hippolyta lost her grip on pillar and started flying to the door. Gotcha. Naruto said, grabbing her, jumped to another pillar and checked to see if anyone was alright. Diana. Looking to the door, Naruto saw Wonder Woman holding on the edge of the door and was starting to slip. He then saw Hades flying back and grabbed her leg. Damn it. He ran to her, created a clone, and transformed the clone into a shuriken. Age Shuriken no Jutsu, Shadow Shuriken Technique. 4. Throwing the clone, he then hit Hades making him let go. Naruto picked Wonder Woman up and jumped back as the door closed and was locked back again once more. Naruto's cloak disappeared as he set Diana down. Thanks Naruto. She replied giving him a quick kiss on the cheek. Suddenly red chakra formed around Naruto before coming off from him and setting down beside him forming a fox with 9 tails. 5. Well I thought that he would have put up a better fight. The fox said as everyone came over. Everyone this is Kurama. Naruto said as they looked to Kurama. Walking back outside, they saw the other Amazons as statues. Is there nothing we can do? John asked as Flash pulled the medallion out as the sun rose. I still have this doohickey. John shook his head. Only Faust knew the spell till he stopped as the medallion glowed and Flash dropped it. Suddenly all the women transformed back to normal. Later the heroes were standing in front of Hippolyta while other Amazons gathered around them. And for defeating the god Hades, you have our eternal gratitude. Flash smirked as he looked to a woman standing beside him. You hear that? Eternal gratitude, maybe after this we can take a private tour of the island. The woman just stared at him. She wants me. Naruto snorted. Yes I can see her wanting to take you now. Wonder Woman and several other women came up and handed them each golden civic crowns. Please accept these royal offerings. Hippolyta finished before turning her attention to Wonder Woman. Diana, Princess of Themyscira. Wonder Woman turned and bowed. As your mother, I'm overjoyed you've returned to us. She said as Wonder Woman smiled. But as your queen, I'm obliged to uphold our law. You brought these outsiders to our island and broke our most sacred law. Naruto sighed seeing where Hippolyta was going. Diana, it's with a heavy heart that I must exile you from Themyscira. Hippolyta finished as Flash stepped forward. What she risked her life to save you hey. Flash stopped when the women pointed their spears at him. Superman walked up to Hippolyta and spoke up. Please she only did it to save you, you can't banish Superman was soon interrupted by Wonder Woman. No she's right, I did break the law. She said before turning to her mother. It seems the Fats are against us mother. Turning around, she walked back to the jet as the other women held their spears up. Wait I would like to speak to Naruto. Naruto turned to Hippolyta and shrugged. He walked over and followed her to a building and into a room. Turning to him, she took a breath. Please watch over Diana. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Alright, I was going to anyways. Why didn't you talk to the others also? Hippolyta started explaining. Because I think you're the best one is the child of prophecy Hera told me about you and how you would help this world like you did yours. After talking for a few minutes, Naruto handed her a tri-pronged kunai. If you need anything just throw that down. Walking out, he saw Kurama sitting across the hall. Everything alright? Nodding, Naruto replied. Yes, she was just asking me to protect Diana. Walking outside and into the jet they left with Hippolyta watching. May Hera watch over you my little son and stars. To be continued. Now. A few days later, Watchtower. Naruto pulled his hood down as he walked up to Diana's door. Knocking on it, he waited for her to answer. After a minute of waiting, he sighed. She must still be down. He thought before knocking again. I'm coming in Diana. He said walking in and saw her lying on her bed on the other side of the wall in blue pajamas. Okay enough moping around, get up, get dressed, and meet me outside. Walking back outside, he leaned against the wall waiting for Diana to come out. A few minutes later, she walked out in her costume putting her lasso on her hip. Alright, we're going to take your mind off things. Go patrolling and maybe relax a little later in the day. Walking to the hangar, Naruto turned his head around. So any place you ouch. Naruto stopped hitting his head on something. Holding his head, he looked to see what hit him, only to find nothing. What the hell? Diana smiled as she walked up and puts her hand on something. I've asked Batman to work on an invisible jet for me. 1. Naruto raised an eyebrow seeing a shimmer in the shape of a jet. Picture the one from Crisis of Two Earths movie. I've meant to ask you. Why do you use the javelin if you can fly? I mean I get you need it to go to the Earth from the Watchtower, in space, and when me and Batman are with you on missions. Diana turned back to him and asked. Why does Flash need a car? Naruto deadpanned before replying. Point taken, but he only uses it for when he's in his secret identity. Looking to the jet he asked. Do you want to take it out? Shaking her head, she replied. No, the cloaking's not finished yet. It still shows the people flying it. Naruto looked at her for a moment. Really? That is a problem. Getting into the other jet, they flew to Earth. Cage, Wonder Woman. They heard John's voice over their earpieces. We're here. Naruto replied as they came up to Metropolis. There's a bank robbery in Metropolis and you two are the closest. Nodding Naruto replied. Alright, we got it. Arriving at the bank, they saw a gang in black clothes and masks putting bags in a car and leave. Wonder Woman flew out of the jet as Naruto followed and saw her land on the front of the car, stopping it. The gang got out and shot at her, only for her to deflect the bullets with her wrist protectors. Suddenly, an arrow hits the roof and green gas came out with Wonder Woman flying up. Naruto dropped down leaving the javelin to hover. "Feeling better?" he asked as she nodded. "Yes." She replied walking up and hugged him. "Thank you," she said as he returned the hug. "No problem," he replied smiling. She gave him a quick kiss on the cheek before flying up to the jet. "Come on, we still need to patrol." Shrugging, Naruto flashed up and they left. A few days later, Superman and John in space. Superman and John, both in grey gold trimmed spacesuit, are on an asteroid putting a console on the surface. 32% iron oxide, 21% carbon. John said, reading off from the screen as Superman puts a hand to his helmet. "Are you getting this, Hawkgirl, Cage?" he asked them. "Yes, we're sending you data as we speak," Hawkgirl replied over the earpiece. With Naruto and Shiera, who was typing on the computer as Naruto, who stood beside her and watched the screen go through the data. "I'm still amazed at the technology this world has," Naruto said as Shiera smirked. "Yeah, this is a long stretch from VCR tech." Naruto's eyes widened as he quickly turned to her. "Well, what did you say?" "Hara told me how your world's pretty much up to the 80s. With a few exceptions, of course," she replied before turning to the screen, talked to the others and ignoring Naruto, whose eyebrow twitched. "The asteroid's just over 3 miles across. Can you imagine if that hits the Earth?" she asked as Superman replied. "That's not going to happen." Suddenly the screen went red and an alarm went off. "Oh no. Superman, the computer says there are pockets of hydrogen inside the asteroid. Get out of there before." Shiera stopped hearing an explosion and the screen flashed. "John." Superman. Waiting for a moment, they didn't hear anything. What the hell was that? Turning around, they saw John floating down. After explaining what happened with Superman and John, Green Lantern yelled at them. "How could this happen? You two were supposed to be monitoring the situation." Naruto walked up to him. "Hey, we followed everything to a T. The damn computer didn't tell us until after we set the damn bomb." Hawkgirl flew over and continued. "Now are you going to sit here and point fingers, or are we going to do something about it?" Green energy came from John's ring. "Let's go," he said as they started walking to the hangar. Superman and John. Superman, now back in his costume, was chained to the wall of a ship. He woke up and looked around and saw other aliens, with John now back in his costume also chained. "John." He tried to pull the chain but was shocked. Hearing two people talk, he looked up and saw two red-skinned aliens, one in black robe and the other in a grey one. "Your instincts were right, sir, my tests say he's a Kryptonian," the one in the grey suit said as the one in black turned to him. "A Kryptonian? I thought they were extinct," he asked as the other looked to Superman. "Apparently not all of them." The one in black smiled looking at his paper. "A rare specimen and a strong one also, he'll do well on War World." War World. A stadium filled with aliens cheering at the one who stood on a stage in the middle under a big screen with his face on it. He's a grey-skinned alien with several scars on his body and blind in his right eye. He's wearing black gold-trimmed helmet, right pauldron with a chain going down to his black gold-trimmed tights with gold gloves and black boots, holding a silver axe. He raised his axe and addressed the crowd. "Hold your applause. That's not what Draga fights for." Draga puts his hand down and continued. "I fight for honor and our leader Mongol." The crowd cheered as another alien in a hovering chair with two others following came out. Mongol is a yellow-skinned alien with red eyes, in a purple silver trimmed shirt and silver pants with purple boots and a silver helmet. "Well said, Draga. But I wonder if your opponent feels the same." Turning to the crowd, Mongol asked. "Don't you?" Hearing the cheers and boos, he turned back to the stage. Hailing from parts unknown and weighing at 720 mass units. Another alien came up beside Draga. He's an octopus-looking alien with several weapons on his body. Croter the Terrible. Croter shot a piece of the stadium off with a gun. He prefers to let his weapons do the talking. Raising his arms, Mongol continued. "And that's exactly what they'll do on War World." Draga and Croter suddenly disappeared from the stage and reappeared on the big screen on another planet. The aliens watched as Draga ran around looking for Croter. As he passed a run-down building, Croter, who was holding on to the rafters, pulled up Draga. Using his axe to cut Croter's tentacle, Draga fell, turned around and threw his axe up to the roof and caused it to collapse. Walking over, Croter suddenly jumped up but fell over. Draga picked up his axe and turned to the camera. "Shall I spare him?" Mongol stood up and looked to the crowd. "What say the rest of you?" Hearing the crowd, he turned back. "The crowd has spoken. Long live democracy." Draga brought the axe down off screen and ink flew up as the crowd booed loudly. The smile vanished from Mongol's face. He brought up a camera. "Captain," he said as an image of the aliens who took Superman and John came up. "Listen to this," he said as the crowd's booing came over the speakers. "They're disappointed in the last specimen you brought." The alien looked fearful for a moment. "My lord," Mongol interrupted him. "Over a dozen specimens and not one can stand up to Draga for more than 2 minutes." The alien puts up his hand and replied. "The next one's different. He's a powerful Kryptonian." Mongol looked interested. "He'll give Draga the fight of his life." Mongol nodded. "He better." He finished ending the transmission, leaving the crew to their thoughts. Naruto, Green Lantern, and Hawkgirl. Naruto, Green Lantern, and Hawkgirl was in a green bubble from Green Lantern's ring, had came up to what was left of the asteroid. "There it is," Green Lantern said, seeing the beat-up javelin. "No sign of them," Hawkgirl said, looking around as Naruto closed his eye and made his yellow cloak for a moment. "I'm not feeling anything." Green Lantern shot out energy and found a trail. "There's an ion trail. And it's from a big ship." They started following for a while and eventually stopped. "What's wrong?" Naruto asked as Green Lantern looked around and saw several trails. "Too many trails. I can't find the one we were following." Looking around, Hawkgirl saw a planet where the other trails came from. "How about there?" Nodding, Green Lantern replied. "It looks like a fueling station." They started floating to the planet. Superman, War World Dungeon. Superman, chained to the wall, was kicked awake. Groaning, he looked up and saw Draga looking at the other inmates. "Pathetic, the lot of you," Draga said before bending down to look Superman in the eye. "And you Kryptonian, you're the worst of them all." He finished spitting in Superman's eye and walking out of the prison. As soon as he was gone, Superman broke the chains and cuffs. Standing up, he rubbed his wrists. "Why didn't you do that when Draga was here?" A gray-skinned alien said, chained at the neck and eating food that he was given. "It's called turning the other cheek. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to find my friend." Superman replied, walking and punching the door. Glancing out, he saw 2 aliens dragging Croter away, talking about a fight. Following them, he saw them take Croter to a sewer and leaving him with a bunch of other aliens, including an unconscious John. Suddenly, a huge alligator jumped up in front of John. "John!" Superman yelled, flying over and punching the alligator back into the water. Picking him up, he shook John awake. Where are we?" he asked as Superman stood up. "I'm not sure, but he stopped as the alligator came back out, bit Superman's arm and dragged him in the water." After a moment, Superman bursts out of the water with a few teeth following after. "This place is starting to get on my last nerve," Superman panted out before running out of the sewer. Humming to a dimly lit stone hall, they were suddenly shot at by flying robots. "This way," Superman yelled, going to the right, grabbing a piece of the wall and threw it at the robots, destroying them. Running further down the hall, they came up to more robots. "Get back," Superman yelled, pushing John down another hall, picked up a stone pillar and threw it at the robots, having them blow a hole in the ceiling. Flying up while holding John, they went through an empty stadium and flew towards the city. Suddenly they hit a green force field that John phased through, but Superman fell down. Getting on one knee, he touched it, having it shock him. Suddenly lasers hit the field and Superman turned around and saw more robots. "Go," he ordered as John shook his head. "No, I'm not leaving you." Superman glanced back. "You'll be better help to me out there." Getting up, Superman was shot and fell over, unconscious. John flew away as the robots took Superman away. They took him to Mongol, who was talking to his advisor about the economy problem. "Who's this?" Mongol asked as his advisor, a gray-skinned alien in red robes, walked up. "He's the Kryptonian. He tried escaping earlier." Mongol walked up to Superman and looked at him. "Pity. I was hoping to build him up with a few preliminary matches." He looked to his advisor. "Give him to Draga." The robots took Superman away as Mongol looked out the window. Naruto, Hawkgirl, Green Lantern. Naruto pushed a yellow-skinned alien against the wall of the bar he and Hawkgirl walked into. "I'm telling you, I don't know anything," the alien said as Naruto glared at him, his eyes turning red for a second. "And I know you're lying." Before he could say anything else, he heard Hawkgirl yell. Turning around, he saw several aliens surrounding her. Letting the alien go, he started walking over but stopped when the alien grabbed his coat and pulled his hood off. Naruto quickly elbowed the alien in the face, knocking him out, and continued to Hawkgirl's fight. "Hey, can I get in on this?" he asked as the aliens nodded, thinking Naruto would help. Naruto punched one and kicked another away. One alien with red skin and black hair pulled out an axe and swung at Naruto, who dodged to the side and knocked the weapon out of his hands. Naruto kicked him out of the window, followed by 2 Hawkgirl threw out, and they continued out in the street. Naruto turned, hearing a Hawkgirl yell, and saw 2 aliens gang up on her. Forming a blue ball in each of his hands, Naruto dashed over. Rasengan, spiraling cereal spheres, 2. Naruto hits them with each ball, sending them back into a wall as Green Lantern walked over. I can't leave you two alone for a second, can I? He asked as Hawkgirl and Naruto turned to him. They know something. Hawkgirl said, pointing to the fleeing aliens. Naruto pulled out his bow and pressed the red button on the inside of the handle, causing the quiver's bottom to rotate. I got him. Naruto said, pulling an arrow out and aimed it at the group. He shot at a blue-skinned alien in tattered clothes. The arrow opened up and a wire wrapped around the alien's legs, causing him to trip. Walking over, Green Lantern picked him up. Relax, we just want information on our friends. You can talk to me or my friends. Looking back, he saw Hawkgirl holding her mace and Naruto twirling a kunai. Okay. The alien said as Green Lantern put him down. I've heard about a Kryptonian being taken to War World. Real nasty place, heavy on the carnage for the masses. Hawkgirl raised her mace at him. Take us to this War World. The alien walked past them as Naruto grabbed his shoulder and walked with him. Superman, War World. The handcuffed Superman was raised on a stage, looked out and saw a crowded stadium. Looking to his left, he saw Draga standing holding a two-handed axe. A robot floated over and cuts his cuffs off as another handed him another axe. Looking up, he saw Mongol sitting on a platform. Are you ready, Kryptonian? He asked as Superman broke the axe over his knee. A bold move, let's see how long he'll last on War World. Suddenly, a gun came out from under the platform and shot Superman and Draga. They disappeared and reappeared on the screen. They started fighting as the crowd cheered. As the fight continued, John, now wearing a cloak, looked on worriedly as Draga threw a large stone onto Superman. Superman broke the stone and punched Draga into a wall. A floating camera came up to Superman, who looked at it confused. Finish him. Mongol ordered as Superman shook his head. No. The crowd started booing. The people have spoken. Finish him. Superman just shook his head. Very well. Guards. Robots suddenly started shooting him, causing Superman to collapse. A moment later, Superman rose on his hands. Still alive. Finish him. Mongol ordered as the robots continued. John stood up and started chanting. Superman, Superman, Superman. Soon, the entire crowd started chanting. After talking to his advisor, Mongol looked back. He shall be spared. Suddenly, Superman and Draga disappeared from the screen and everyone in the stadium left. Down in the dungeon, Superman and Draga reappeared as the other prisoners surrounded them. What? Superman asked as a small alien walked up. You defied Mongol, no one's ever done that before. Superman raised an eyebrow and glanced around. Hasn't anyone done that before? He asked as the group shook their heads. Draga did before, but he decided he liked living. An alligator-looking alien replied as the small alien spoke up. After what you did, you deserve to live. We've arranged transport via trash pickup, and Superman stopped him and spoke up. No, I'm not leaving without my friend John. Another alien spoke up. But if you stay, Mongol will kill you. Superman walked past them and spoke over his shoulder. I've dealt with people like him, I'll take my chances. Two aliens picked up Draga and started walking behind Superman. Wait. Where are you taking him? Superman asked as they looked to him. Where all the losers of fights go, to the pit. Superman shook his head. No. The others looked surprised at him. But he won't rest until he evened the score. Superman looked down for a moment. Will he fit on that trash ship? He asked as the aliens looked at Draga. Naruto, Hawkgirl, and Green Lantern. Now you're on my wing. Hawkgirl said, pulling her right wing away from Green Lantern as they were sitting in the back of the small ship. Well, if you want, you can sit on my lap. Naruto said, grinning as he sat behind them. She deadpanned at him before turning her attention back to Green Lantern. Why can't we use your ring? She asked as the alien looked back to them. The galaxy is a big place and I need my Navi computer to find War World. He has a point. Green Lantern said as Hawkgirl scoffed. Sure, take his side. Naruto sighed as they continued bickering. Okay kids, don't make me force him to turn the ship around. Naruto said as a glass wall went up in front of him. What the hell? Naruto asked before seeing green gas come in. Oh hell no. Naruto flashed to the alien and slammed his head on the control panel. Crack. Turning back, Naruto saw Hawkgirl punch and crack the glass before falling to the floor unconscious. Turning back, he pushed the unconscious alien out of the seat and sat down. Way more buttons than the javelin, why can't they make this simpler? Like a starter button and 2 or 3 on-off switches. Seeing a planet, Naruto started flying to it. I hope this is War World. Later. Hawkgirl groaned as she sat up. Hey sleeping beauty. I thought I was going to have to kiss you to wake you up. She saw Naruto standing in front of her as a clone tied up the alien and threw him in the spot they were and raised the glass wall. Where are we? She asked standing up as Green Lantern woke up. I don't know. It's not War World, I haven't seen anybody since landing. Naruto replied, opening the door and walked out. As Hawkgirl and Green Lantern followed, they saw garbage everywhere, broken buildings, and a few small fires. They started looking around with Naruto pressing the button on his glasses. His eyes widened seeing aliens hiding. "Look out." He yelled as the hidden aliens jumped out and attacked. One jumped on Green Lantern and another tackled Hawkgirl. Naruto quickly turned around and grabbed the head of one with both hands and brought him down on his knee. Looking back, he saw the others make quick work with the other two and started interrogating the last one. "Where is Warworld?" Hawkgirl asked but another voice answered. "If it's Warworld you want." Turning to their left, they saw Draga without his helmet, pauldrons, and a crude S-shaped scar on his chest. "Talk to me." He finished as they walked to the ship. Later, as they came up to Warworld, Hawkgirl looked to Draga. "That scar, where did you get it?" Draga raised an eyebrow. "What's it to you?" Hawkgirl shrugged before replying. "A friend of ours has something like that on his chest." As they came across some buildings, Draga suddenly opened the hatch and jumped out. "Draga!" Hawkgirl yelled as Green Lantern grabbed her shoulder. "Leave him, Superman and John are more important," he said before looking to Naruto. "Can you sense them?" Naruto concentrated for a moment. "Yes, they're in the same plaque." "Wait, Superman just suddenly left." Naruto replied coming up to a stadium. "John's there." Naruto pointed to a dome-shaped building with a cannon and a small opening. Flying over, they saw John hiding behind a support as guards in blue uniforms shot at him. Green Lantern flew out and made a shield for John as the others jumped down and attacked the guards. Suddenly, the cannon lights up. "The cannon." John said as Hawkgirl flew up and saw the laser building up. "Ahhhh." She screamed as she swung her mace hitting the laser and pushing it back. The cannon blew up causing the guards to flee. I saw it, but I don't believe it," Naruto said as Hawkgirl floated down. "Right, let's go and get Superman," Naruto said as they floated up in the air. Soon they saw Mongol about to hit Superman with a laser axe. Green Lantern made a shield for Superman and the others fell down. "The cannons destroyed. Draga's planet is safe," John said as Superman stood up. "Then all bets are off." Walking up, he was interrupted by a voice. "No, he's mine." Draga ran up and punched Mongol with the others surrounding them. Draga threw another punch, but Mongol punched him back into Green Lantern. "Keep your guard up on your left side." Getting up, Draga blocked a punch from Mongol but wasn't able to block the follow-up. Draga caught another punch, kicked Mongol in the stomach and punched him in the face. "This is for my people." He hits him again. "This is for my honor." Mongol fell on his knees. "And this is for justice." With a final punch, Draga knocked Mongol's crown off and knocked him unconscious. Finish him, finish him." The crowd chanted over the camera. "No, he doesn't deserve the honor," Draga said as Superman walked over. "Then it's over." Draga looked to him. "No, not yet." Picking up Mongol's crown, he handed it to Superman. "Here, you deserve to wear it." Superman shook his head. "No, you should keep it." Draga looked to the crown. "What's life without honor? I'm not worthy." Superman shook his head before replying. "The test of honor is not how you die but how you live." Walking back to the others, Green Lantern created a ball around them and they floated up leaving Draga to stare at the crown. Later at Naruto's home. Naruto walked out of the garage wearing a dark blue shirt, black pants and boots. He stretched as he walked up to the door and walked inside. As soon as he opened the door, he was tackled by a red blur. "Hey Barb." He greeted Cheetah who held on to him. "I see the treatments are working," he said seeing her red hair on her cheetah form, wearing black pants and a sleeveless shirt. "Picture her from Justice League." Doom. 3. Nodding she let go. "Yeah, Batman said it shouldn't take long before they found a permanent cure. I may even be able to change forms at will." He smiled giving her a quick kiss. "That's great news." Walking to the living room he saw Kara and Barbara sitting on the couch watching TV with Hunter and Kurama using a henge transformation to hide 8 of his tails, laying on the floor. "Hey girls." He greeted sitting in between them and watched the movie with them. The girls rested their heads on his shoulders. "So anything interesting happened while we were gone?" Naruto asked as the girls shook their heads. "No, nothing we couldn't handle." Kara replied as Cheetah walked in and sat on Naruto's lap and continued watching the movie. To be continued. Now. Naruto, Flash, and Cheetah Central City. Naruto, Flash, and Cheetah in her human disguise were in a diner and Flash was talking to 2 women who are sitting in a booth near the window. "And Solomon Grundy thought he had the drop on me," Flash said taking his 10th burger. "But he didn't, and you know why?" he asked taking a sip of his soda. "Because you're the Flash," the women said together as Flash nodded. "That's right, fastest man alive." He finished as Naruto held a piece of paper above Flash's head. "I've heard that applies in the bed also." The women snickered as Cheetah elbowed him. "Oh come on now Barb, that was funny," he said crumbling the paper up. Before she could retort, a slow song came on the jukebox. "Come on hero, let's dance." Cheetah said, pulling Naruto in the middle of the room. Isn't he dating Supergirl? One woman asked with short black hair as she stared at the dancing duo. Yeah, but in his world he's the last man of his family, like Superman, and a law that came up when his village was founded kind of forced him to take multiple women to bring it back. Flash explained, and before the women could ask anything else, a truck with a trailer hits a car into the building. Flash quickly grabs the two women out of the way, and Naruto, applying chakra to his limbs, stopped the car as soon as it came through the window. Are you alright, man? Flash asked, opening the driver's side door. The airbag deflated, showing a young man with dark skin and short hair. He's a madman, he ran me right off the road. He yelled as Flash turned to the two women. Sorry ladies, duty calls. He sped out with Naruto and Cheetah without her disguise following out and jumping on his motorcycle. And you didn't want to give them our numbers. The second woman with long blonde hair and a ponytail said to the other as she looked sheepish. Naruto followed after Flash as the truck kept hitting cars that got in the way. Suddenly a man with grey hair got out of the passenger side window and shot at them with a gold-black gun. Damn it, it's never easy. Naruto said, weaving through the blasts. Soon they came up to the bridge and Naruto shifted into a higher gear and caught up to the truck. Putting the motorcycle in autopilot, he picked up his bow. Whoa, wait, why are you taking your hands off the speeding vehicle? Cheetah asked, not seeing what Naruto did earlier. Picking out a regular arrow, Naruto shot the tire out and the truck crashed into the stone railing, the front end dangling. Oh. Flash sped over and grabbed the man who shot at them and the driver, a middle-aged Asian man, and sped back just as the truck fell. Suddenly, green energy shot down and lifted the truck back up. Blue something. Looking up, they saw a green lantern floating above the truck. We had this handled. Flash said as Green Lantern sat the truck down and looked to the multiple cars that were wrecked. I see. Naruto, putting his bow on his back, looked to Green Lantern. What are you doing here? He asked as Green Lantern sighed. I was following a police call. He said, walking to the trailer of the truck, opened it and showed containers with biohazard signs on them. A shipment of radioactive isotopes was hijacked. Naruto picked up the two men. I guess that's why these two were hell-bent on getting out of town. The Asian man groaned and held his head. Where am I? He asked with Naruto putting them down. You hijacked a shipment of isotopes. Cheetah said as the men looked confused. Green Lantern, using his ring, pulled out their IDs. Prof. Arthur Chen and Dr. Mark Stevens. Both work at the lab where the isotopes were stolen. Flash smirked and crossed his arms. And I feel bad about taking paper clips from the watchtower. Later at the lab, the heroes were talking to a female with a white lab coat, black hair in a bun, and glasses. I can't explain it, they're both highly respected in their fields. She said as Green Lantern was looking at a folder with the two men's information. Maybe they just snapped. Cheetah said beside Naruto as he held her by the waist. Some people do worst. Want some? Looking back, they saw Flash holding a banana to a gorilla with black fur. The woman quickly took the banana out of his hands and pointed to a sign above the gorilla. Don't feed the animals. The woman started walking away. If you'll excuse me, I have work to do. Shrugging, the heroes left as the gorilla seemed to glare at them. Hark, Naruto, Flash, Green Lantern, and Cheetah. Come on, we have work to do. Green Lantern said, pinching the bridge of his nose. This will only take a second, I have a hyper-accelerated metabolism. Flash replied, taking a dozen hot dogs from the vendor. Lucky. Cheetah said with a sigh as she watched in envy. Oh come on now Barb, you're very beautiful. Naruto said right before they heard screaming. Gorillas on the loose. A man with blonde hair yelled, running past them. Hold these. Flash said, handing Green Lantern the hot dogs and speeding up. Wait. He yelled and looked to see Naruto and Cheetah gone with a few leaves falling down where they were standing. He puts the hot dogs down and tried to follow, only for the vendor to stop him. You need to pay for these. With Naruto and Cheetah, they came up to his motorcycle and saw a gorilla with silver fur steal a silver convertible. What the? Naruto said before quickly getting on his bike, and they started chasing after him. Soon Flash came up with a metal rake and threw it in front of the car, having it crash. Easy boy, we'll get you behind monkey bars in no time. Flash said, putting a hand on the gorilla's shoulder as Naruto and Cheetah stopped beside him. The gorilla slapped his hand away. Get you hands off me, you filthy human. Flash's and Cheetah's eyes widened, but Naruto just pointed at the gorilla. No way, you're quoting the remake, the original's way better. Before anything else could be said, a beam hits Flash and he screamed. After a moment, Naruto walked over to him. Are you? He was interrupted by Flash punching him and then punched Cheetah. When they woke up, they saw Flash and the gorilla gone. Oh, Naruto said, rubbing his cheek. Cage. He heard Green Lantern's voice over his earpiece. Yeah. Naruto replied, putting his hand to his ear. We have a problem. Later, Central City Jail. Naruto, Green Lantern, and Cheetah walked down the hall of the jail that Flash was sent to after apparently stealing the isotopes they got back. They walked into the interrogation room where Flash was sitting in front of an overweight male with dark skin, bald, and wearing a white button shirt with black tie and gray pants. Looking to his right, Naruto saw another with tan skin, short blonde hair, in a beige suit and red tie. "Put the coffee in a paper cup, he'll be taking it to go," Green Lantern said, putting a folder down and handed it to the bald man. The cop picked it up and read it. "You're bailing this lowlife out?" he asked as Naruto raised an eyebrow. "No, he's not. He was hit with a beam earlier after getting that gorilla that escaped. Maybe it was a mind control thing. Besides, if he was really guilty, you wouldn't be able to hold him with only handcuffs." Smirking, Flash stood up and twirled his handcuffs on his finger. He tossed it to the blonde hair cop as they walked out. When they were outside, Naruto turned to Flash. "Do you remember anything?" Shaking his head, he replied. "No, not since we stopped that talking gorilla." Green Lantern simply raised an eyebrow. "I don't really believe that." Flash just stared at him. "We've got a Martian's number on our speed dial. I think I deserve the benefit of the doubt." Sighing, Green Lantern nodded. "Okay, let's go to the park to see if we can find anything." Nodding, Flash ran as Green Lantern, Naruto, and Cheetah followed. Park night. Cops surrounded the entrance as they kept a lookout for the gorilla. "Guess our friend's still at large," Cheetah said, getting out of Naruto's arms. Green Lantern aimed his ring at the ground and saw a green footprint. "Got something." Following the trail, they came to a bridge, and when they walked under, they saw the gorilla standing in front of them. The gorilla growled and beats his chest before running towards them. Green Lantern quickly shot him with a blast out from underneath the bridge. Sitting up and holding his head, the gorilla glared at him. "Was that really necessary?" he asked as Green Lantern's eyes widened. "Okay, so you can talk now. Who are you?" he asked as the gorilla walked over and introduced himself. "I'm Silver, Gorilla City's chief of security." Seeing the blank stares, Silver sighed and explained there's a city of hyper-intelligent gorillas in Africa and how one named Grodd tried to take over the city with mind control but escaped when he was found out. "And it wasn't until recently that we found out he stole our city's security plans and he's sworn revenge on the city." "Well, that would explain the isotope robbery and your memory loss," Green Lantern said to Flash before turning back to Silver. "He needs isotopes to power his devices," Silver explained before walking up to a bush. The bush turned into a flying bike and Silver pulled out a briefcase. Opening it and pulling out a file, he gave it to Green Lantern. "My sources say he's working with a scientist he met online." Opening the file, Green Lantern saw the female scientist they talked to earlier. A Dr. Sarah Corwin. Cheetah snorted before crossing her arms. "I knew something felt off about her," she said before Green Lantern spoke up. "We should contact the others." Flash shook his head before replying. "Why? We can take care of one dumb gorilla, no offense." He directed the last part to Silver. "Let's go," he said before speeding off. "No, wait. He's very fast," he said to the others. "Yeah, he gets that a lot. Now what were you going to say?" Naruto asked as Silver picked up a silver headband. "That these will keep Grodd from controlling us." Each of the heroes took one and puts it on. "Let's go after him before it's too late," Naruto said, dashing to his bike. Laboratory. Humming up to the wall outside, Silver blew a hole in it. "It's over, Grodd." Grodd, standing beside Dr. Sarah wearing a gold helmet with a ruby on the forehead, smirked as Flash was laid down on a table. "You're a fool to come here, Silver." Silver pointed to his band before replying. "You can't control us while we have these on." Grodd held his smirk as the gem on his helmet glowed. "I wasn't you I was thinking of." Suddenly Flash sat up. "Destroy them." Flash dashed over and attacked the heroes as Grodd and Sarah ran to another room. "Flash, fight it," Naruto said before being punched. Cheetah dropped down onto Flash and twisted him down to the floor and punched him. "I've wanted to do that since you tried to peek on me at Naruto's." Naruto jumped in the air and shot 2 arrows down at Flash that opened up to tie him to the floor. Silver ran after Grodd and saw him and Sarah on a flying bike near a reactor. "My apologies for the hasty exit," Grodd said, holding a small remote. Pressing a button, he smiled. "But I've got a city to overthrow." He flew out as the others ran in and saw yellow energy coming out of the reactor. Green Lantern tried to push it back with his ring, but it continued to cover the building and eventually the entire city, leaving nothing after it died down. Dawn, Diana, and Hawkgirl at the watchtower. Dawn was watching a monitor with Diana before it beeped. "Diana, Hawkgirl." Diana walked over as Hawkgirl flew down. "What is it, John?" Hawkgirl asked as John pushed some buttons on the computer. "Central City, it's gone." The women's eyes widened at that. "That's impossible," Diana said as John brought up an image with a white circle on it. Sensors showed that the city vanished without a trace. Hawkgirl stood up and asked. Weren't GL, Flash, and Cage down there? Diana pressed another button. Flash, Cage, Green Lantern, can you read me? She asked but got no response. Repeat, come in. She repeated but still got no reply. She looked to the others with worry before they flew to the hangar. Naruto, Green Lantern, Flash, Cheetah, and Silver Laboratory. Green Lantern groaned as he got up and got rid of the energy that's covering the others. We're still here. He said as everyone but Flash got up. So it would seem. Silver replied before they heard Flash groan. What should we do? He could still be under Grodd's control. Naruto said as Silver walked up to Flash and puts his headband on him. This will protect him. The headband glowed blue and Flash quickly sat up and looked around. Who? What? Where? Looking to the others, he face-palmed. Not again, what did I miss? He asked as Green Lantern helped him up. That dumb old gorilla got away. Silver walked up to the hole in the wall and looked up. Cage to Watchtower, come in Watchtower, I'm not getting anything. Naruto replied to Green Lantern and Flash tried their earpieces but got no reply. And for good reason. Silver said as the others walked over. What the hell is that? Cheetah asked seeing what looked like a shield over the city. It's like the shield that protects my city, nothing can get in. Silver replied before Green Lantern spoke up. Or out unless I can destroy the generator. Walking back into the room, Green Lantern tried to use his ring on the generator but a shield protected it. Well, not even a scratch. Flash said as Silver nodded. Yes, gorilla technology is highly advanced, come we must find Grodd. He said as they walked out of the building. Dawn, Wonder Woman, and Hawkgirl inside of the Javelin just outside of Central City. Approaching Central City. Wonder Woman said from the pilot seat before Hawkgirl spoke up. Or at least where it used to be. She pointed to the area where the city was. Suddenly the computer started beeping. Proximity alert. Wonder Woman said pressing a button. But there's nothing there. John said looking in front of them. That man built this device, if it says there's something is there, something is there. Suddenly the Javelin hit something causing it to careen to the ground. After landing they looked to the wing and saw scratches and dings. Your trust in Batman's tech is well placed. John said as Wonder Woman turned around. Let's see if we can find what we hid. She said walking forward and eventually touched a field. It looks like an energy field, can you phase through it? She asked John who flew to it but was pushed back as soon as he touched it. No, it seems to be highly advanced. Hawkgirl grabbed her mace. Let me try to get through. She flew towards the field as John tried to stop her. Wait. Hawkgirl hits the field and was shocked back into Wonder Woman, knocking both of them to the ground. Maybe we should try a different approach. She said brushing her hair out of her face and standing up. Batman, can you find anything out about this field? She asked into her earpiece after scanning it. After a few moments Batman replied. Diana, I've analyzed the data you've sent. Nodding, Wonder Woman replied. And any way to get through it? No, but I've found a similar energy in Africa. Batman replied as Wonder Woman's eyes widened. Could the city have been transported? She asked before Batman spoke up. No, but it's worth investigating. I'm sending the coordinates to the Javelin's GPS and I'll meet you there. Batman finished as the others went to the Javelin. Central City. The others came to the middle of the city where the people were in a group in front of Grodd who's standing on a stage. Grodd, Grodd. The people cheered as Naruto sighed. This isn't good. He replied as Grodd pointed at them. Intruders, destroy them. The people turned around and surrounded them. Damn it, Kurama, can we use the cloak to get rid of the control? Naruto thought before hearing Kurama's reply. No, they don't have chakra and there's only a few other ways I know of and you don't have time to use a seal or be able to put a Biju in the others. Naruto raised an eyebrow as he saw Green Lantern create a ditch around them. Biju? What do you mean? Kurama sighed before explaining. Jinchuriki couldn't be controlled, at least with Jutsu or a seal. Only way is with a strong Sharingan and the other way to break it is with a mate mark. 1. Naruto shuddered at that. Yeah, I wouldn't want that. He thought before seeing the two women from the diner and shot a flashbang arrow. You could add a little chakra to shock them out, but I'm not sure how well that would work and the ones that get freed may be attacked also. Kurama finished as Naruto jumped up in the air and shot a sleep gas arrow that exploded, hitting a good part of the attacking group. Looking back, he saw Flash pick up Silver and running away. Dashing to Cheetah, he grabbed her and flashed to Flash and the others in an alleyway. Oh, that was rough. Cheetah said holding her stomach. Grodd got away, but I can track his trail. Green Lantern said as they left to follow Grodd. They came up to a military base and a soldier came out and pointed his rifle at them. Halt in the name of Grodd. Silver dashed forward, knocked the gun out of his hands and knocked him unconscious. Let's go before Grodd finds out we're here. Suddenly an alarm went off. Too late. Flash said as Green Lantern got in front of him. No, that's a launch alarm. They saw several missiles fly up to a hole in the field. Stop Grodd, I'll go after the missiles. Green Lantern ordered, following after the missiles. Earlier with Wonder Woman, John, Hawkgirl, and Batman in Africa. Batman looked behind him as he studied the field. There's no question, this energy field is the same as the one in Central City. He said as Hawkgirl tapped the field. And we couldn't break through that one. As they were talking, a turret came out and shocked them. When they woke up, they saw they were in a room handcuffed. The door opened, showing two gorillas, one with dark fur with a gun and the other with brown and a scar over his left blind eye. Where are we? Who's in charge? Wonder Woman asked as the brown fur gorilla looked to her. That's not how this works. He said, walking up to her. You'll answer my questions. Hawkgirl just stared at him. Sure, just get us out of these cuffs. It is not policy to allow spies to roam free. He said before John spoke up. We are not spies and you can't ahhhh. He screamed as the cuff shocked him. As the gorilla continued asking questions, Batman picked the lock on his cuffs. Suddenly Batman broke free and threw a bolas at the gorilla before grappling up and threw two batarangs at Wonder Woman and John's cuffs. Heading out, they knocked the gorillas out and John broke Hawkgirl's cuffs. Walking to her mace, Hawkgirl screamed as she made a hole in the wall and they flew out with Batman grappling to the next building. The brown-furred gorilla picked up a microphone. Security. Several gorillas on flying bikes followed after them. They came to the edge of the city and Wonder Woman and Hawkgirl hit the field, forcing them to fall. John flew down and caught them as Batman ran up. It's over, humans. Turning around, they saw the gorilla with a blind eye with others sitting on bikes. Suddenly the field went down. What? Get the field back up. He ordered to the gorilla beside him. The gorilla picked up a remote but couldn't bring it up. It's no use, something's blocking our signal. The first gorilla growled. Grodd, evacuate the village. Turning around, he flew a few feet before Hawkgirl spoke up. We could help. Stopping, the gorilla looked to them. And how would you help? Hawkgirl smirked and lifted her mace that's covered in electricity. A few minutes later they saw two missiles coming to the city. Wonder Woman, Hawkgirl and John flew up to them and John phased through one, bringing out the explosive with him. Hawkgirl hits the second, having it explode, but the front fell to the city. Wonder Woman flew in front and tried to stop it. As she came to the ground, she started skidding, leaving small tracks on the ground. Barry, give me strength. The missile stopped but fell on her. Diana. Batman yelled, running over to help her out. She pushed the missile off her and crushed the explosive in her hand. Your city is safe. She yelled out as the gorillas cheered and beat their chests. Military base earlier. The first missile's offline. Sarah said as Grodd looked at the screen. But how? He asked before hearing a voice behind him. That would be the work of our green friend with the power ring. Turning back, he saw the heroes with Silver. You're under arrest for crime against Gorilla City, Grodd. Silver said, pointing a gun at Grodd. Second missile's offline. Grodd growled and tackled Silver. Flash sped behind him and tapped the helmet, pushing it down on Grodd. Try and catch me. He said, dashing around the room, quickly hitting Grodd every now and then. The third missile's offline. Sarah said as Grodd tried to hit Flash. Stand still. He yelled out before Flash stopped in front of him. Try fighting me without your helmet. He said, picking up his headband and throwing it over to the other side of the room. Idiot. Cheetah said, face palming as Naruto sighed. Yeah, but he must have some sort of plan. He replied as Grodd smirked. The last missile has been deactivated. Grodd looked back for a second before turning his attention to Flash. You really are an imbecile. Flash glared at him. Well, you're naked. Naruto face palmed and shook his head. You really need to work on your comebacks. He said as Grodd turned his helmet on, was suddenly shocked and fell to the floor unconscious. You fool, what have you done? Sarah asked, running over and fell to her knees. I crossed the wires when I tapped the helmet. Sarah wiped some tears from her eyes. You killed the greatest mind the world has ever known. Flash walked over and placed his hand on her shoulder. It'll be alright now that you're not under his control. Flash said as Sarah glared at him. He never used that on me, I loved him. The heroes looked on in shock at her. Internet romances, go figure. Flash said with a shrug, looking back to the others. Later, Gorilla City. I'm sorry we misjudged you, we can never repay you. The gorilla officer said as Flash smirked. No biggie, but what about Grodd? He asked as Silver motioned them to follow. I'll show you. Going outside, they saw Grodd in a pen holding a banana, pushing a tire swing with a blank look on his face. The feedback from his helmet completely wiped out his mind. Silver said as Naruto walked up. Any chances he'll recover? He asked as Silver shook his head. No, I don't think so, he'll receive the best of care. Flash suddenly ran to Green Lantern. Not bad, huh? I outsmarted a super genius. He said with a smirk as Cheetah walked past him. I guess you're not as dumb as the villains say you are. She replied with a smirk. Flash nodded before catching on. Hey. I resent that. No one makes a monkey out of me. He yelled out as they all left. They never noticed Grodd stop pushing the tire, crush the banana, and glare at them. To be continued. What if Naruto x Wonder Woman Harem Justice League end here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.